It all started when a goddess asked me for a favor. She wanted me to save this dying world. Kang Hanbit trudged away from a mountain of slaughtered monster corpses. So, I did my absolute best. Bleeding and pierced with arrows, Hanbit staggered forward. Is the fight over? Where are my teammates? Splat, thick blood poured onto the battered ground. His vision blurred as his strength faded. He collapsed. My body won't move. Thud, he fell into an endless expanse of pink clouds. I'm so sleepy. His battered body lay completely lifeless, pierced by arrows. Just a little. Blood covered his face as his eyes grew impossibly heavy. I need to sleep. Rustle, he finally closed his eyes. Ding, a system alert echoed in the void. Intense light. Ding, regression 31 times. Ding, possession 17 times. Ding, reincarnation 7 times. A total of 55 cycles of regression, possession, and reincarnation. Free-falling through the starry void, Hanbit groaned. Ha, damn it, I really can't keep doing this. Just how many times has it been now? He glared up at the cosmos. This round was another hellish grind for nothing. A pale, divine foot softly tapped his head. A voice spoke out. This time was quite long. Hanbit narrowed his eyes, annoyed. Long, huh? A radiant goddess hovered above him. Is that really what you have to say? Goddess, Hanbit yelled. How about we try reincarnation again? It's been a while, she offered calmly. Hey, cut it out already, Hanbit snapped. This expressionless being was, surprisingly, a goddess. She was the one who called him here? No, the culprit who kidnapped him. I don't even remember when it was anymore, but back then, the goddess kidnapped me and brought me here. Then she suddenly threw me into another world, telling me to find Erfort and save the world. And that's how the hell began. You died, you died, you died. During those 55 cycles, I went through so much torment that I can't even remember how I died each time. Yet in the end, I couldn't find a single clue as to what Erfort actually is. Hanbit pointed an accusing finger at her. I really can't do this anymore. Got it now. If you want that Erfort or whatever, you go find it yourself. That is impossible for me. If I do that, the world will be destroyed, the goddess replied blankly. My mind will be destroyed long before that, you damned goddess, Hanbit screamed, his face twitching. Strange, I confirm that the treatment for mind and body is functioning normally, she mused. Ah, you're impossible to talk to seriously. Well, she's not wrong. Once I come back here, my body and mind are completely healed. But the vivid memories of pain gnaw away at my sanity. 55 deaths pushed me far beyond my limit. Shall we start preparing for the next round? Regression again this time, she asked. I said hell no, I told you I'm done. That is a biologically impossible request for this body, as it is female, she said without missing a beat. Ag, Hanbit roared in frustration. I was joking, she added. Hanbit froze, clutching his head in utter disbelief. In what? You have done your best in the role entrusted to you, the goddess said gently. You've more than earned the right to return to your original world. It's over, even though I failed to save the world 55 times, Hanbit stammered. For this task, the process mattered more than the result. You no longer need to worry about it. Snap, so I will send you back right away. His legs began to digitize into blue light. No, wait, stop for a second. I still have a lot of questions. You were a great help. Everything you have accumulated will connect into a great power. As he faded, Hanbit screamed. What the hell? She says her piece and just kicks me out, this crazy woman. She gazed down at him. I'll be looking forward to you there as well. Flash, a blinding light consumed him entirely. Hanbit squinted. A voice called out, intense light, mom's heading to work, Hanbit groaned. He sat up in his bed, clutching his head. My stomach hurts. Click, the front door shut. It's been 18 months since I returned to reality. Creak, Hanbit scratched his head as he stepped out of his bedroom. I'd done those cycles for so long that I could barely remember real life, but my memories slowly started coming back. Sunlight flooded the empty living room. She already left. Damn, turns out I got kidnapped by the goddess the day before my enlistment. A laundry basket sat in the corner, holding his discarded military uniform. After that, 18 months passed, and I was discharged yesterday. Hanbit poured himself a glass of water, dark circles heavy under his eyes. Hey, Tilda, the more I think about it, the more it pisses me off. If I count the times I did military service during those cycles, this was my 6th time doing military service. Of course, it was a bit different from the real army. Hanbit slumped back in a chair. Getting used to modern life is ridiculously hard. This is all because of that damned goddess. I barely scraped by, but I did manage to land an internship. I just don't know how long I can keep it. Man, my future looks so bleak. Buzz, buzz. Hanbit groaned, stretching his stiff neck as his phone vibrated. Yeah, I'm coming. He got a text, "Hyung, we are going out again today, right?" He checked his phone and replied with a cat sticker and text, "You little psycho, I'm old and exhausted," and thought, geez, you should really cut down on the drinking. The messages kept popping up. "What, that's all you've got? Are you scared, Hyung? Scared? Lol." Hanbit gritted his teeth. This brat is provoking me again. He softened his gaze. Well, I guess it's fine. He's the one who looked out for me when I was thrown straight into the army after coming back to this world. I owe him a lot. A new message arrived. "Anyway, I was just kidding about the drinks. I've got a discharge present for you." Hanbit typed back, "A discharge present out of nowhere? What is it?" The reply came instantly. "Lol, Hyung, lol, the moment I said present, you perked right up." Hanbit's eyes widened. "A present? I'm actually kind of curious what this guy's got for me." Later at a cafe, "Hanbit, Hyung, over here." Ju Yonwoo waved him over, a massive ice cream parfait in front of him. "I ordered one for you too," Hanbit noted. "This guy is Ju Yonwoo. He was my senior by 4 months in the army, but he's 5 years younger than me." "We drank so much yesterday, but you look totally fine, Yonwoo," Hanbit said. "Unlike you, I'm still young," Yonwoo teased. Hanbit stayed silent. Hanbit scooped some ice cream. "Anyway, so what's the present?" Yonwoo smirked. "Come on, it'll hurt my feelings if you just jump straight to the present." Hanbit immediately stood up and turned to leave. "I had fun. Let's hang out again next time." "Wait, Hyung," Yonwoo panicked. Yonwoo quickly held up a card. "Remember the game I told you about before? Record Project." The card glinted in the light. "This is an RP membership card, and it's level 2 no less. You can get gear that lets you play RP at home, and it's gear that supports level 2 synchronization." Yonwoo handed the card over. "This is my present for you, so please just take it without feeling pressured." Yonwoo winked mischievously. "It's around 500, but it's fine since it's for you, Hyung. Don't you need a private security guard at home? Just say the word. I've got plenty of empty rooms. Want to move in for real? Haha." Hanbit pushed the card back. "I'm kidding. I actually found a job. I start work tomorrow, so I don't think I'll have time for games. You know, things are tough for my family, right? If I have to, I might even take on a second job. So making money comes first, right? Of course, it makes more sense to work a part-time job than waste time on games," Hanbit said flatly. Yonwoo sighed. "You really have zero sense of romance, Hyung." Hanbit lunged across the table and grabbed Yonwoo by the hair. "You idiot, does romance put food on the table? Do games feed you? Huh, hey, I'm not done talking yet. Depending on how you play RP, you could hit the jackpot." Yonwoo screamed as Hanbit yanked his hair. "We're talking hundreds of millions here. I'm serious." Hanbit froze mid-pull. "Hundreds of millions." Hanbit instantly let go and sat back down like a perfect gentleman. Clasping his hands politely, Hanbit spoke with utmost respect. "Please forgive my rudeness, Sergeant Ju Yonwoo. I would like to hear the details." Yonwoo pulled out his phone, smirking. "Shall we, Corporal Kang Hanbit? You know the company that made RP is Team Zero, right? Sorry, I'm lost from the very start. The will of Michael Welton, the founder of Team Zero, was made public recently, and it caused a huge stir." Yonwoo showed an article on his phone. "I will transfer all rights to RP to the first player who clears RP." RP was already insanely popular worldwide, but this will make it blow up even more. And especially any strategies that help with clearing the game are worth a fortune. Major corporations are pouring in huge investments to form dedicated strategy teams. But that doesn't mean solo players have no chance. Of all people, it's a condition set by Michael Welton himself. Hanbit pumped his fist. "All right, I'll give it a shot." "Really? No backing out?" Yonwoo beamed. "Clink, you went through all this trouble for me, I might as well try," Hanbit agreed. "I knew you were the best, Hyung." Yonwoo adjusted his jacket eagerly. "Then shall we head out right away?" "Huh." The two quickly arrived in front of a massive building labeled Special Event Zone. In the crowd, Hanbit said, "Hey, Ju Yonwoo, isn't this crowd way too big?" Yonwoo replied, "Ha ha ha, this is nothing compared to the states of Europe." Yonwoo dragged Hanbit by the collar. "This way, this is where we're going." "Ack, don't yank me by the collar," Hanbit choked. "Before anything else, we need to buy a guidebook for newbies," Yonwoo explained. "A guidebook? Can't I just jump in and play?" Hanbit complained. "You have no idea. RP is not a kind game for newbies." Yonwoo slid a thick, ancient-looking book toward him. Yonwoo with confidence said, "That's why someone called Adventurer wrote a guidebook just for beginners. If it weren't for this, I would have quit too. This is advice from a senior gamer. Make sure you buy it." Hanbit cracked open the heavy book. Fine, fine. I'll just check the contents first before I decide." Hanbit stared at the very first page, his expression dropping entirely. "What the hell is this?" "What's wrong?" Yonwoo asked, leaning in. The page glowed with an ominous, familiar light. "Didn't you say you were looking forward to this?" Hanbit said. "Why is this here?" Hanbit's face went completely pale as he read the first objective out loud. Find Erfort, huh? There was a question I'd been carrying with me for the past 2 years, Hanbit thought to himself. The goddess's final words echoed in his mind. I'll be looking forward to you there as well. Suspicion darkened his expression as he stared at the ground. What on earth did she mean by that? Why did she let me go? So this is why. He gripped the guidebook so tightly his knuckles turned white. Yeonwoo's worried voice broke his train of thought. Hayoung, what's wrong, Hayoung? The grim realization hit him. She never intended to let me go in the first place. Hanbit Hayoung, Yeonwoo shouted, finally snapping him back to reality. Huh, Hanbit muttered, dazed. Yeonwoo eyed him with concern. Why do you look so serious? Does it sound too hard or something? Hanbit shook his head. It's not that. More importantly, I've got something to ask you. Hanbit stared at the golden cover of the Record Project guidebook. Do you know anything about this Team Zero? Yeonwoo shrugged casually. I mean, there's probably no one who hasn't heard of them, but almost no one knows the details. The current head of Team Zero handles all the outside-facing stuff alone, Yeonwoo explained. I think she's Michael Welton's youngest daughter. The size of the dev team and any info on its members are all kept secret. Hanbit rubbed his chin, his mind racing, suspicious. Could they have some kind of link to that goddess? But why a game of all things? He squeezed his eyes shut, letting out a heavy sigh. Why? The horrific memory of a fantasy world engulfed in roaring flames overtook his vision. The world I was sent to wasn't some game. He remembered screaming, covered in the blood of his enemies, the disgust I felt when I killed for the first time. He remembered collapsing in the dirt, blood violently erupting from his mouth, the horrifying sensation of my first death. He knelt broken before the glowing goddess. You failed, she declared callously, and the despair of having to repeat that life endlessly are all still vivid, Hanbit thought. Is it really right for me to step into a place that might be that same hell again, of my own free will? He squared his shoulders, his decision made. No. Maybe this is my chance to finally put an end to this pain. Determination set in as he held up the level 2 id card. You said I can get the gear with this, right? How long will it take? About 2 hours. They do near-instant delivery these days. Yeonwoo eagerly snatched Hanbit's phone. Hand me your phone. There are some apps you'll need, so I'll set everything up for you. Yeonwoo pointed at the battered guidebook with a grin. And let's just buy that book right away, too. It's all crumpled. Hanbit flinched in embarrassment. They parted ways under the setting sun. I'll head in first, so call me as soon as you've made your account, Yeonwoo waved. I'll be waiting, Hayoung. Haha, I'll log in as soon as I can, Hanbit chuckled, though his smile was strained. Not that hurrying will make the gear arrive any faster. Arriving at his bleak apartment, Hanbit stared at the glowing delivery box waiting at his door. It's here already. Hanbit trudges down the street carrying a gleaming box, groaning under its weight. A 5,000,001 gaming device, huh? He thinks, exhausted but intrigued. He unpacked the sleek VR headset and limb bands, arranging them neatly on his bed. He inspected the advanced limb bands carefully. With a soft click, he locked his bedroom door. There's still a bit of time left before Mom gets home. He snapped the heavy band onto his wrist, but just in case. The machine hummed to life as Hanbit lay still, fully strapped in and ready to dive. System windows chimed before his eyes, scanning biometric data, scanning brainwaves, link complete, character creation complete, starting character customization. He floated in a digital void as a featureless mannequin. Oh, this feels way more like a real body than I expected. It's still just a mannequin, though. I guess the slight heaviness in my arms and legs is from the gear. I heard you can freely customize your appearance, so let's tweak it a bit. But why isn't the settings window popping up? He poked an unresponsive blue window. Is it a bug? For such a popular game, that's pretty sloppy. Whatever, I'll just reboot. Is this the quit button? With a sharp beep, he pressed the system button. Suddenly, red error screens violently glitched across his vision. Character creation has failed. Wait a second. Existing character, what do you mean existing character? The system boomed, we welcome you. Static screeched as Hanbit clutched his head in agony, bathed in ominous red light. Goddess, you, don't tell me this is your doing too. The glitching faded, leaving him clad in familiar leather armor, breathing heavily. The cry of seagulls and the crashing of ocean waves greeted him. He had arrived at Port City Edlin. He stood on the sunlit docks, a sword at his hip. Long time no see. He walked toward a nearby window, catching his reflection in the glass. Hanbit pressed a gloved hand against the window, staring in absolute disbelief at his own face. This is... His golden eyes were wide with shock. Exactly how I looked in my final regression. A phantom image of his blood-soaked face overlapped with his current pristine reflection. The trauma was still fresh. Is this some kind of unspoken message from the goddess? He looked down at his trembling hand, haunted by the memory of it drenched in blood. The horrific memory of himself, surrounded by hellfire and commanding to start again, burned brightly in his mind. Ding-dong, a barrage of desperate friend requests and messages popped up from a user named Roper. Hanbit broke into a cold sweat. He facepalmed, staring helplessly at the glowing blue interface. Roper was Yeonwoo's nickname, right? Which button do I press to add a friend? Hyung Tilda, a familiar, cheerful voice rang out. Yeonwoo arrived, practically sparkling in his premium gear and fairy wings. I told you to message me as soon as you logged in. Yeonwoo, is that you? Hanbit asked before sighing. No, wait, of course it is. The incredibly flashy Tittle, luxurious Roper floated proudly above Yeonwoo's head. Yeonwoo pointed at him, amused. Why'd you customize yourself like that? Almost nobody makes their avatar look the same as their real body. Is that confidence or what? Hanbit rubbed the back of his neck awkwardly. Well, it just kind of turned out that way. Still, it suits you, Hyung, Yeonwoo grinned. But what's with your nickname? Hanbit blinked. My nickname? What is it? Yeonwoo let out an exasperated sigh. You made it yourself, how do you not know? Tap your character info here. Hanbit nervously tapped the floating menu. His face dropped in absolute horror. Yeonwoo burst into hysterical laughter beside him. I did not pick that. Change it now, Hanbit yelled, grabbing Yeonwoo by the collar. Didn't you read the warning during character creation? Yeonwoo gasped between laughs. Nicknames are imprinted with your biometric data, so you can never change them. The cursed name hung in the air. Black Dragon, I'm gonna lose my mind. Hanbit screamed while Yeonwoo howled with uncontrollable laughter. Hanbit violently tackled him into a headlock. Quit laughing, you little punk. Yeonwoo flailed helplessly. Time out, time out. Hyung, check your notifications first. Hanbit glared menacingly at the blinking blue screen. Notifications, my ass. A prompt asked to broadcast his gameplay simultaneously on Roper's stream. What's this, you stream too? Yeonwoo chuckled nervously. Yes, hee. Yeonwoo rubbed his sore neck on the ground. I don't have many viewers, but I stream regularly. There's a dedicated streaming platform called Recorder that RP supports on its own. Playing while chatting with people in real time is actually pretty fun. You don't need to feel pressured, Yeonwoo assured him, throwing his hands up. I'll handle all the streaming stuff and you just play the game. We split any revenue 50-50. If the stream really takes off, you can take 60 or more. Hanbit stared at him, utterly unamused. He sighed, crossing his arms. Guess I don't have much choice. So if we make 1,001, I get 500, right? Yeonwoo nervously murmured, that's before platform fees are deducted. Yeonwoo excitedly slung an arm around his shoulders. Come on, just trust me this once. Hello, this is Roper. Yeonwoo beamed at his invisible audience. And the person next to me is Black Dragon Hyung, who will be playing with me from today on. We'll be showing you lots of fun stuff together. Hanbit gave a stiff, awkward wave as chat messages began to roll in. Welcome newbie, read one. That nickname, though, read another. Then the trolls arrived. Edgelord showed up late. Typical small streamer, zero sense of presence. At that level, he's more like a worm than a dragon. Hanbit's eye twitched with pure rage. These little. Yeonwoo broke into a panicked sweat. Calm down, Hyung. If you get mad, they'll just tease you more. You haven't forgotten our goal is money, right? They're just the type who enjoy getting under people's skin. Hanbit's expression turned terrifying. I'll show you what real flaming looks like. Yeonwoo gulped, terrified. Okay, so what do I do first? Since it's your first time, let's check your recommended skills, Yeonwoo explained like an old pro. The system scans each player and recommends about 3 skills that fit them. Hanbit crossed his arms in thought. I learned all kinds of techniques over those 55 cycles, so it'd be nice if those techniques showed up here as skills. He reached out and tapped the back of a glowing skill card. Oh, you're checking right away. I'm curious to see what you'll get too, Yeonwoo peeked over his shoulder. An intensely bright blue light exploded from the card, blinding them both. A massive, seemingly endless cascade of golden skill cards erupted from the system, towering into the digital sky. The two stood completely paralyzed in shock. Hyung, what is that? Yeonwoo stammers. Hanbit stared blankly. Good question. A flurry of digital cards pop up in front of Hanbit with a soft swish. Yeonwoo's jaw drops, his eyes wide with shock. The chat goes absolutely wild, spamming messages about bugs and hacks. Yeonwoo stammers, asking how he did that, but Hanbit just stares, completely unfazed, and asks why he wants to know. Yeonwoo's pupil quivers in sheer disbelief. Hanbit casually glances back at his junior to ask if there's something there. Yeonwoo takes a sharp, trembling breath. He clenches his fists and screams at the top of his lungs about them being hidden skills. Yeonwoo yells that there's not just 1 or 2, while the chat descends into complete chaos. While Hanbit dismisses them as mere recommendations, an awestruck Yeonwoo throws his arms up, screaming that there are tons of unseen icons. Hanbit looks deadpan at the dark, glowing cards, calmly stating that he recognizes all of them. He points a finger at the interface, noting it's not a bad start at all. A glowing staircase stretches into the abyss as Hanbit plans to use this as a springboard to uncover what the goddess is really after. He taps a fiery emblem, deciding to start simple with fire element magic. Hanbit turns back to Yeonwoo and asks where to get quests. Yeonwoo blinks in confusion at the magic choice, prompting Hanbit to raise an eyebrow and ask if it's bad. Yeonwoo cringes violently, imagining getting slapped while mocking the romance of magic as a complete joke. Hanbit scowls and dodges Yeonwoo's dramatic flailing, asking if magic is really that trash here. Envisioning a tiny, struggling mage version of himself, Yeonwoo explains that magic is insanely hard to build proficiency with. He adds that you can't even see your accumulation until it's maxed out, a fact the chat violently agrees with. Hanbit's expression darkens as a brutal memory surfaces of a man screaming in the pouring rain. He reflects that it's only natural to need talent and effort, especially for magic. He then asks who the teacher is, leaving Yeonwoo totally lost and confused. When Hanbit frustratedly insists someone has to teach it, the chat instantly mocks him for expecting a written exam. Yeonwoo laughs nervously, holding Hanbit's shoulders to calm the laughing stream down. He explains that skill books let you learn instantly, as NPCs aren't advanced enough to personally teach you. A glowing skill book appears in Hanbit's imagination as he ponders how convenient the world has gotten. He vividly recalls a past cycle where he crawled pathetically in the mud, begging to stop. His extremely strict former teacher shouts at him to quit whining, making Hanbit shudder at the painful memory. Brushing off the bad memory, Hanbit starts walking toward the general store, surprising Yeonwoo with his geographical knowledge. Hanbit states they can buy fire magic from the merchant Yulio, which makes Yeonwoo recoil in disgust. Yeonwoo asks why they'd go to him, and Hanbit replies dryly that it's to get a magic book. Hanbit points an accusing finger, effortlessly slandering Yulio as pure scum and a scammer to the amusement of the chat. Suddenly, a bright donation alert pops up on the stream as Yulio donates 1,001 while threatening to sue him. Yeonwoo's eyes turn into literal stars as he claps his hands and brightly thanks Yulio for the donation. Hanbit stops in his tracks, pleasantly surprised when Yeonwoo confirms they just earned about 501. Hanbit's eyes immediately light up with golden dollar signs, cracking up the chat with his pure greed. Yeonwoo teases him for caring about such a small amount, reminding him that this is a business. Hanbit points passionately, stating that if Yeonwoo and 1,001 fell in the water, he'd save the money without hesitation. Yeonwoo playfully complains before projecting a holographic map to find Yulio. Hanbit immediately walks right past him, prompting a bewildered Yeonwoo to ask what he's doing. Hanbit brings up a glowing card, stating he needs to find a magic teacher first. The card displays a gorgeous blonde woman named Atsubil. Yeonwoo stares at the card in complete dead silence. Sweating profusely, Yeonwoo warns that people will flame him for this concept, but Hanbit insists it's not a joke. Yeonwoo sighs, explaining that Atsubil is just a fraud NPC who steals and gets permanently arrested. He adds that despite her pretty design, there's no actual route for her. Hanbit closes his eyes, dismissing the warning as he stubbornly decides to find Atsubil anyway. The chat erupts in complaints about Hanbit being a frustrating mule, while he simply stares back silently. He finally gives in with a sigh, agreeing to visit Yulio's shop instead. The chat challenges him to a bet where he must do a sexy dance if Yulio isn't a scammer, and Hanbit accepts with a deadpan expression. Hanbit smirks confidently, claiming he did plenty of sexy dances in the army, much to the chat's horror. Hanbit takes the lead, leaving Yeonwoo confused about the strange direction they are heading. Hanbit states matter-of-factly that they are taking a shortcut. Yeonwoo looks at the map showing Hanbit's path cutting straight through buildings, asking how he knows the way. They finally arrive in front of a quaint building labeled Yulio's shop. Hanbit stares coldly through the glass window, locking onto the merchant inside. The plump, mustached merchant clasps his hands with a jovial smile. Hanbit's fist clenches tightly by his side. A dark memory flashes of him kneeling in a miserable prison cell, an annoying memory he'd rather forget. Hanbit turns to his junior to ask how advanced the NPC interaction is, to which Yeonwoo replies the freedom is busted. Hanbit's eyes begin to glow with a dangerous light, causing Yeonwoo to nervously stutter. Hanbit stomps forward with a heavy thud. With a massive bang, Hanbit violently kicks the shop doors wide open. He strides inside, a menacing aura rolling off him. Yulio smiles, totally oblivious to the incoming danger as he welcomes his customer. Hanbit lunges forward and violently grabs Yulio by the collar. Snarling furiously, Hanbit demands to know if Yulio is pulling his crap here too. His eyes burn with absolute, unhinged fury as he calls the terrified merchant a hopeless piece of garbage. Inside the general store, Hanbit forcefully grabs Yulio by the collar. Yonwoo bursts through the door behind them, eyes wide in panic. Yonwoo gasps in horror. "No, Black Dragon Hyung," he yells as the stream chat panics. Hanbit glares menacingly down at the plump merchant. The atmosphere is thick with dark tension. Yulio squirms, sweating profusely. "Excuse me? How could you say such a thing? Weren't you here to buy a magic book? Could you please let go of my hand first?" Hanbit leans in close, his expression dark and unyielding. Hanbit violently shoves Yulio away. The merchant stumbles back against the desk, clutching his chest with a dramatic gasp. Yulio fakes an apologetic look. "Anyway, that magic book you wanted was just sold. It was the last one in stock. I truly am sorry about that." His fake smile widens into a greasy grin. "It's not much of a substitute, but I can introduce you to a place." Yulio rubs his hands together greedily. "On one condition, that you do me a favor." Yulio turns around, patting his back pockets. "While I was dozing off, a thief snuck into my shop." He dramatically pulls out a glowing red pendant. "From the looks of it, I'm certain it was that rival merchant Atsubil." A sly grin spreads across Yulio's face. "Would you help me go and catch her?" A quest prompt pops up to arrest Atsubil, offering a fireball magic book referral and gold. The stream chat immediately complains about Yulio being a scammer. Hanbit stares at Yulio's back. "He's turning this kind of lie into a quest," he mutters to himself. Hanbit recalls his agonizing past. In his first cycle, Atsubil was his true magic teacher, but she was framed and thrown into prison. In a dank, dark cell, Hanbit remembers being chained up. "A mangy mud of Atsubil's, huh?" a mocking voice echoes. He remembers kneeling helplessly before corrupt guards and Yulio's sneering face. "I guess the only thing you ever learned from her was stealing," the memory replays. No defense meant anything against fabricated evidence. Hanbit asked, "You said if I keep doing the quests, I will get a magic book right. What happens to the thief?" Yonwoo replied. "Once they are in prison, they never come out." Back in the present, Hanbit glares at Yulio. "Atsubil will have to answer for your crimes as well," Yulio snickers. "The future of her shop. He. Well, I'm sure you can guess." Hanbit's fist clenches tightly, shaking with suppressed rage. Yulio turns back around with a sickeningly sweet smile. "So, customer, what do you think?" Hanbit brushes past him. "Let's hurry and catch the—" Yulio starts to say, but Hanbit cuts him off. Hanbit starts violently trashing the shop. Yonwoo freaks out, screaming, "Hyung, what are you doing? You can't just trash the shop like that." Hanbit's hand hovers over a heavy sack. "Shut it, you scamming bastard," he growls. Hanbit snatches up the stolen money bag. "You said you got robbed, right?" A new quest suddenly pops up to arrest the scammer Yulio for a massive reward. Yulio freezes, his eyes wide with shock. Yulio stammers in disbelief. Yonwoo stares, whispering, "You catch on quick." Smack, Hanbit delivers a brutal, bloody knee strike right to Yulio's face. Hanbit follows up with a devastating axe kick, sending the scammer crashing to the floor with a loud wail. Thud, Yulio tumbles backward, crashing into a pile of wooden crates. Yonwoo looks at Hanbit, bewildered. "Yulio, have you been lying to me?" The chat laughs at the sudden turn of events. Suddenly, the shop doors burst open and armed guards rush in. "What's going on in there?" a guard yells. Hanbit softly mutters, "It's over." Hanbit slowly opens his eyes, a calm and knowing look on his face. The screen fades to black with a system message, moving to cutscene. In the cinematic cutscene, the guards roughly tie up a bruised and bloodied Yulio. "I didn't do anything," he wails. Hanbit and Yonwoo watch coldly from behind as the guards drag the crying merchant away. Yulio is thrown into a cold jail cell, screaming in frustration as he clutches the iron bars. Hanbit watches with a sharp, calculating gaze. He recalls the brutal past. Back then, he had to push through bribed guards and drag Yulio to someone trustworthy. The gap between a game and reality is staggering. Hanbit sighs deeply, leaning forward with his hands on his knees in relief. A golden quest window glows before his determined eyes. The quest is complete. He receives 500 gold, and a new objective opens to visit Atsubil. Hanbit wonders if this flow of events is just a coincidence. Suddenly, Yonwoo grabs his arm, eyes sparkling. Hyung. Yonwoo leans in close, whispering excitedly, "What is this? How did you know?" Hanbit sweats, wondering how to explain himself. Hanbit laughs awkwardly. "Come on, you know me, I'm crazy about fantasy novels. The plot of this game is exactly like an old book I read." Yonwoo buys it completely. "Oh right, you're a total nerd, Hyung, got it now." Hanbit sighs in relief. A donation chime rings. Yonwoo cheers playfully as 10,000 won rolls in. Yonwoo thanks the chat, bragging about Hanbit's detective skills. Hanbit just stares ahead, deadpan. He looks down at his gauntlet, reading the chat's praise. Our stream's always like this, he thinks. He looks back at the enthusiastic Yonwoo. I should leave all that to Yonwoo. I'll focus on what I'm actually good at. They walk down a sunlit path towards a quaint house. Hanbit remembers how crucial Atsubil was, yet players treated her like a petty criminal. Inside the store, the beautiful Atsubil sighs at him. Then don't just stand there, move some crates or something. Don't think you can freeload here. She scolds him warmly. Hey, what happened to you this time? I told you to be careful. If you get hurt, you're the only one who loses. She hands him a glowing red magic book. If you go out, at least study magic, planning to haul boxes for the rest of your life. Then a dark memory flashes. Atsubil, standing quietly behind the cold iron bars of a prison cell. Hanbit stands outside her cell, looking down at her boots. Look up, he had told her softly. Atsubil smiles warmly through the bars, her striking green eyes full of tears. I know it's not your fault. I'm not letting that rat-faced bastard get away with this. Flames engulf the prison window in his memory. Those were her words, Hanbit remembers bitterly, and in the end, she burned to death. Back in the present, Hanbit hesitates, his armored hand trembling slightly over the wooden door handle of her shop. He looks down, his face shaded with guilt and sorrow over his failure in the past cycle. Taking a deep breath, he pushes the wooden door open with a soft creak. He steps into the sunlit shop, calling out softly, Atsubil. Atsubil leans on the counter, resting her chin on her hand, looking utterly bored in the quiet shop. She glances up at him, her beautiful green eyes curious. Ahem. She stands up straight. Who are you? I've never seen you before. Hanbit smiles gently at her. She puts a hand on her hip, looking haughty. Do you even know who I am, coming here like this? Hanbit smirks confidently. Well, I guess you wouldn't. You're a newbie. I came because I want you to teach me magic. Atsubil looks genuinely surprised. Magic from me? She walks out from behind the counter. She steps up to him, looking up into his eyes. You're a funny one. Why would I teach some stranger I just met? Hanbit grins, knowing the future. Of course, I already have the solution ready thanks to what happened earlier. The stream chat goes wild, calling her his wife. She leans in closer, studying his face. Hey, Chem, hold on, you. She points a finger at his chest with a knowing smile. I get it. You're Black Dragon, aren't you? Atsubil leaned in closer, studying Hanbit's face. I see. You're Black Dragon, right? She asked smoothly. Hanbit nodded, his expression flat. That's me. Yulio was trying to frame you as a thief, he explained. Atsubil exhaled sharply, a frustrated sigh escaping her lips. Seriously, that trash? Atsubil spat, resting a hand on her hip. I knew he'd cause trouble sooner or later. She brushed a hand through her blonde hair. Anyway, thanks. Flashing a grateful smile, she added, You saved me from a nasty situation. Hanbit shook her hand, an easy smile on his face. No need to thank me, I can't stand the guy either. Leaning in, Atsubil whispered playfully, I mean, just look at him. Who'd trust a face like that? Hanbit smirked. Exactly. He's got total scammer face down to a T. Getting down to business, Atsubil paused. So you said you're looking for a magic book, but this thing, she stopped abruptly. Hold on. Her piercing green eyes widened slightly in curiosity. Hanbit crossed his arms, staring her down. You're looking for medicine, aren't you? He asked bluntly. Atsubil flinched in surprise. How do you know that? She demanded. Hanbit gestured casually. It's sitting right there on your desk in plain sight. He held her gaze, offering a lifeline. I'll help you. Atsubil stiffened, clearly caught off guard. She bit her lower lip, hesitant. You know your way around medicine, she challenged, stepping closer. Hanbit smirked, brimming with confidence. Of course I do. Atsubil narrowed her eyes. Confident, aren't you? All right then. A massive, tearful eye flashed behind her as she tested him. What's the name of the illness where the patient's pupils turn blue and they suffer from dizziness and nausea? Hanbit didn't miss a beat, completely relaxed. I don't know the name of the illness. Atsubil trembled, her shoulders shaking with anger and disappointment. Figures, you know how many times I've been let down. Despair swirled around her like grasping hands. All those so-called experts were the same. Worthless diagnoses just to grab my money, wasting both treatment costs and time. She looked away, her expression hardening. I've repeated that cycle where hope turns into poison more times than I can count. Hanbit cut through her despair with a simple question. Potions and healing magic don't work at all, right? And the patient doesn't feel hunger. Atsubil gasped, spinning back to face him. Her hands shook wildly. Do you really know what this disease is? Hanbit caught her arm, steadying her. It doesn't have a name. I only know how to treat it. Atsubil's eyes widened. What? You really know how to cure it? Tears pooled in her eyes as desperation took over. Please help us. I'll repay you properly. Hanbit gave her a reassuring, confident smile. Trust me, I'll definitely get the medicine. A system window chimed. He had discovered Atsubil's mother's illness. The objective was set. Find the proper medicine near Edlin. And the reward? 2,000 gold, Atsubil's Fireball magic book at heroic grade, 3 stat points and 500 exp. Yonwoo panicked, grabbing Hanbit's shoulder as chat logs exploded. Does this even make sense? A guaranteed heroic, that can't be real. Hanbit just looked back calmly. What's so special about heroic? I see rank written next to it too. Yonwoo sweat dropped. Oh right, I told you I'm a newbie, right? You've got to explain. Yonwoo eagerly took on the role of teacher. Rank is the tier range, and grade is the rarity. Even if they're both rank 1 magic books, their performance changes depending on rarity. The system holographic display lit up. Normal, advanced, rare, then heroic shining in a fiery glow, all the way up to mythic. Hanbit touched his chin, processing the information. I didn't even know rank 1 could have a heroic grade, and now it's guaranteed. That's ridiculous. Same spell, different performance, huh? That didn't exist in the other world, Hanbit muttered to himself. Must be a system they added because it's a game. Yonwoo clapped his hands excitedly. So now we just have to find the medicine, right? Do we just go pick herbs or something? Hanbit's eyes narrowed with determination. I'll have to actually use a heroic grade spell to get a real feel for how strong it is. Hyung, where are we supposed to go? Yonwoo cheered. Hanbit confidently struck a pose. That's... Suddenly, his chest seized with a violent thud. Hanbit hunched over, clutching his chest. Yonwoo freaked out. Whoa, Hyung, what's wrong? Are you feeling sick? Hanbit's avatar began to glitch and fade. No, mom's ho. With a sudden pop, Hanbit completely vanished from the game world. Yonwoo was left standing all alone in the empty town square. A breeze blew past. Ah. Back in the real world, Hanbit whipped off his headset, sweating bullets. Oh, you're home, Mom. I'm in the middle of something really important right now. His mother stood there in silence. Her face was completely terrifying, a chilling aura radiating from her. You little brat, why's this door locked? She shrieked, landing a brutal smack on his back. Ah, Mom, I'm sorry, Hanbit yelped. Not once have you ever done this, she continued to yell. Hanbit pointed frantically at his bed. Mom, you know Yonwoo, right? He gave me this as a discharge present, so I was just trying it out. He desperately tried to play it cool. When I got discharged, he said we should play together. It's that record whatever game. His mom's expression softened slightly as she took his shopping bag. Oh, you've heard of it too, Mom. It's always on the news, just don't play it for too long. Hanbit laughed nervously. I'll only play a bit when I have spare time. My internship starts tomorrow anyway. His mom froze, staring at him in shock. Internship? You actually went through with that? Smack, another hit to his back. I wanted to at least have one line for my own resume. Ow, Hanbit cried, and you didn't even tell me. Good job, she yelled, though this time out of bizarre pride. His mom raised her hand again. Why on earth? Thwack, Hanbit deftly blocked her incoming strike with a confident grin. You tried to stop me, didn't you? Stop you? His mom shouted as her blocked hand trembled violently against his arm. She glared at him intensely. What kind of parent nags their kid about getting a job right after they're discharged? And on top of that, it starts tomorrow? Hanbit cowered. This is tougher than fighting a master of martial arts, he thought. He put on his best puppy dog face, flushed and pathetic. Mom, once I go back to school, it's my last semester. I need to find a job fast. His mother stared back, utterly unamused by his performance. Defeated, she sighed and turned away. The company's in Songdo, right? You'll have to wake up early. Hanbit smiled softly. She paused at the door, glancing back sharply. I don't care about anything else, just don't skip breakfast. You think I didn't notice you skipped it today? Hanbit sweated profusely. Yonwoo bought me a choco parfait. That's what you call an excuse, she roared. Slam, I'm going back in, do your best, she yelled before firmly shutting the door. Hanbit collapsed onto his bed, utterly exhausted. Phew, Mom, seriously. He glanced at the clock, realizing the time. Oh, right, I was still live on stream. Still, first day of my internship is tomorrow. I should sleep early. A pang of guilt hit him. I feel kind of bad toward Yonwoo, though. Meanwhile, back in the game, Yonwoo was practically crying as chaotic stream chat messages exploded around him. Hi Yuwang, he wailed, completely abandoned. Meanwhile, on the largest roleplay gaming community message board, a certain thread is gaining serious traction. Titled Got Hidden Skills and a Heroic Rank Quest, the post has rapidly racked up over 1,400 views. The post claims a newbie has triggered multiple hidden skills and secured Atsubil's elusive Fireball magic book. The comments are ruthless. Your Photoshop skills are busted as hell, dude, one reads. Another scoffs. Not even funny. Sitting in an outsourcing studio, Kim Yeha stares at his tablet with a bored expression. Who'd believe this kind of crap, he mutters. He leans back in his office chair, clearly unimpressed. They get one hidden to pop and act like it's the second coming. Scrolling through the screenshots, he shakes his head. Streamer viral marketing comes in all flavors, huh, Roper? What kind of tiny 2-bit streamer is that now? The chair creaks loudly as he leans further back. Even if I search, all I get is a monster name. The guy running with him is called Black Dragon. Yeeha chuckles softly to himself. Just from the nickname, I can smell how young he is. He pauses, a sudden curiosity breaking through his cynical facade. Thud, he pushes himself up from the desk. Guess I'll just have to check it myself. Back in the game, Ju Yonwoo stands awkwardly in the town square, sweating bullets under the pressure. Ding, 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 the chat goes wild with alerts and questions. So the thing is, he stammers, overwhelmed. Everyone calm down for a second, please. The chat relentlessly pesters him about his friend's age. Yonwoo forces a nervous laugh. Black Dragon Hyung, we've both done our military service. My Hyung's a devoted son, actually. Suddenly his eyes widen in pure shock. Flash, a holographic viewer graph aggressively pops up in his face, making him flinch. Trembling, he stares at the massively spiking line. Why are there so many viewers? What the heck happened while I was gone? He taps frantically at his virtual console, his brain practically blue screening. What, our post got pinned on RPG? Hyung, please pick up your phone. Ding, a system message appears. From Black Dragon, sorry for going ahead. Tomorrow's my first day at work, so I have to call it here. Yonwoo gulps hard, staring blankly at the screen. The message continues. I'll leave you a hint in my place. Yonwoo's back straightens as realization hits him. A sly, confident smile spreads across his face as he turns back to his stream. Okay, everyone, listen up. My Hyung couldn't log back in because of real-life stuff, but he left us a present before he went, he teases the audience. Not even sure if I should show this. He reveals the message. The cure for Atsubil's quest is dropped by bomb slimes. If you clear it before I come back, I'll share even more special info. The next morning, the sun shines brightly over the towering corporate blocks of the city. Hanbit, dressed in a sharp, uncomfortable suit, checks the address on his phone. This is it, right? He looks up at the massive glass facade, psyching himself up. Let's do our best at work, Kang Hanbit. He arrives at the 4th floor, the sign reading, NQ Technology. Stepping inside, he bows respectfully. Hello, I'll be working here starting today. The office is a chaotic mess. A stern-looking manager snaps at him. Kang Hanbit, you the one who came by the lab yesterday? The revisions still aren't in, go check now. Hanbit stares blankly. The manager looks equally confused, holding a red clipboard. The manager spins around, exasperated. What, the intern was starting today? Is HR even doing their jobs? I told you yesterday. He clicks his tongue in deep annoyance. Tusk. Swish, he waves a hand dismissively. Hey, Lee Minyu, take the intern and get the meeting room set up. A dark-haired employee stands up. Yes, sir. Lee Minyu walks over, looking absolutely exhausted, and limply shakes Hanbit's hand. I'm Lee Minyu. If there's anything you don't know, just ask me. Turning away, Minyu gestures lazily. Leave your bag and follow me. I'll tell you about your desk and the contract paperwork later. In the meeting room, Minyu points to a messy whiteboard. Could you move the whiteboard out of the way? Hanbit nods. Yes, understood. Scrub, scrub. Hanbit quickly grabs an eraser and aggressively cleans the board. Suddenly, a different superior walks in holding a coffee. Why are there 2 of you today? The grumpy team leader took a sip of his coffee, eyeing the newcomer suspiciously. And who are you supposed to be? Minyu bows slightly. Hello, team leader. I'm the intern I reported to you about a few days ago. The team leader nods indifferently. Hello. Hanbit immediately drops into a stiff, 90-degree bow. I'll do my best to learn during my internship. The team leader stares coldly at Hanbit. No need to do your best, just do exactly what you're told. Hanbit freezes. The team leader dismisses him without a second glance. If you're done tidying up, you can head out. Click, Hanbit steps into the hallway and closes the door heavily. He slumps his shoulders, letting out a defeated sigh. I can already see this company's future. I'll just learn as much as I can on my own while I'm here. He thinks back to his 55 past deaths. Still, it's better than getting dragged through that other world. Later that evening, digital pixels swirl as a heavy boot hits the virtual cobblestone. Hanbit materializes in the game, cracking his stiff neck. I'm back. Sorry I didn't see any of your messages. It was my first day, so everything was chaos. Yonwoo looks at him with literal sparkles radiating from his body. It's fine, Hyung. Hanbit visibly recoils. What's with that face? What about my face? Yonwoo asks, beaming like a madman. Hanbit narrows his eyes. You look like you want to murder someone, that's what. Yonwoo aggressively shoves the holographic graph into Hanbit's face. Hyung, we hit the jackpot. Look at the viewer count. We've gone past 5,000. Hanbit calmly pats Yonwoo's arm as Yonwoo proudly addresses his stream. Everyone, now we'll finally start tackling Atsubil's quest in earnest. Has anyone managed to clear it yet? Yonwoo gives a massive thumbs up, laughing triumphantly. Not a single one so far. Hanbit smirks, crossing his arms with incredible arrogance. You guys really lack imagination. You need to be more creative. He steps forward, eyes glowing with confidence. Anyway, I'll show you directly, so pay close attention. He points forward dramatically, first to the main gate in the city wall. As they march, Yonwoo whispers nervously, "Hyung, you sure you're really a newbie? We might need some clarification here." Hanbit shrugs. I already told you I just read a ton of fantasy novels." He strikes a cool pose, looking back over his shoulder. "In a game with this much freedom, I figured anything should be possible." Yonwoo panics. "Dude, and I told you all that was nonsense. Come on, just trust me. It's not like you don't have the time." Hanbit suddenly stops in his tracks. He looks ahead at a massive crowd of players blocking the bustling street. Something going on? Why is everyone gathered here? Must be people who saw that post on the community. Suddenly, a voice rings out from the crowd. The Vanguard has arrived." Yonwoo and Hanbit freeze, looking completely bewildered. Vanguard. In the bustling game world, Yonwoo looks around in absolute awe. "Whoa, they really are the Vanguard," he whispers to Hanbit. "I guess what you found spread way further than we thought, Hyung." Back in the game, Hanbit holds back his junior, Yonwoo. "But what's the Vanguard exactly?" Yonwoo just smiles playfully. "Ah, right, Hyung wouldn't know." Hanbit recalls the game's ranking system as they observe a glowing, golden-armored paladin and a smug-looking female warrior. "We call the top 10,000 ranked players the Vanguard. Level, proficiency, and story progress all get turned into points to determine their tier. Out of 300 million players worldwide," Hanbit continues, "only 10,000 make that list, and just 500 of them are in Korea." Watching the elites walk by, Yonwoo asks, "And those big shots haven't learned magic yet?" Hanbit shakes his head. "Most of them skipped it because of the proficiency grind and focused on growth first." Suddenly, Hanbit's eyes lock onto a glowing, intricately designed weapon slung across an archer's back. That bow is..." "Golden plume bow, I remember that," Hanbit notes, recognizing the feathered golden frame. "A craftsman made it, his work was pretty decent." Nearby, other players gossip. "So even those guys couldn't clear the Atsubil quest?" one asks. Another replies, "Most Vanguard players are backed by corporations." Yonwoo tilts his head. "Corporations? They get full corporate support to clear RP," Hanbit thinks to himself, staring at a cosmic vision of grasping hands reaching for the stars. Even aside from that ownership issue that made headlines, RP itself is a money-maker. His thoughts are interrupted when a fiery, short-haired woman aggressively approaches him. "You're Black Dragon, right? You're live right now, yeah. When are you going to actually show us clearing the quest?" Hanbit, completely unfazed, replies calmly, "We're about to start soon." A red-haired guy quickly intervenes, scolding the woman. "Dude, I told you it was all lies from the start. Can't you at least try trusting someone once? Why are you freaking out?" "You idiot, last time you believed a scammer, you got stripped down to your underwear," she snaps back. "Shut up, you moron," he yells. Hanbit casually ignores their squabbling and briskly walks past them. "Anyway, let's head toward the sea first," Hanbit tells Yonwoo, leaving the arguing duo in the dust. Yonwoo is perplexed. "But bomb slimes are in the forest on the other side." Hanbit glances back over his shoulder, flashing a sly grin. "We need a fishing rod to make the cure." "A fishing rod?" Yonwoo repeats, completely dumbfounded. The stream's chat floods with question marks, viewers utterly baffled by the sudden pivot to life skills content. A donation notification rings out. Pipiaku has donated 1,001. Fish prices in front of Edlin are exploding right now. Viewers complain about market profiteers manipulating prices in real time. Hanbit chuckles softly, covering his mouth. They really have no idea what's going on, he thinks. Yonwoo checks his digital interface, still utterly lost. Hyung, so why do we need the fishing rod? Is there an ingredient from the sea for the medicine? Hanbit playfully dodges the question. Who knows? Tilda maybe, maybe not? Yonwoo begins to panic, waving his hands frantically. Hey, Hyung. This isn't all a lie, right? Yonwoo drops to the ground, clinging to Hanbit's leg and wailing. If it is, I'll have to shut the stream down. Hanbit pats him reassuringly. No, it's fine, relax. Brushing off Yonwoo's panic, Hanbit confidently extends an open palm. Just trust me, since we need a fishing rod first, lend me 70,000 gold. Yonwoo's soul seemingly leaves his body. The chat erupts in laughter, pointing out the ridiculous, elaborate build-up just to shake down his junior for money. As they make their way through the crowded stone streets, murmurs follow them. The audience on their stream is definitely growing. Hanbit leans over a bridge, feeling the collective eyes on him. Why do I feel like there are even more people watching now? He flashes a confident smirk at a distressed Yonwoo. I'll pay you back soon, so relax your face a bit, Yonwoo grumbles. I just have no idea what you're even going to do with a fishing rod. Suddenly, Hanbit points ahead. Oh, there he is. Sitting peacefully by the shimmering sea is an old man with a straw hat, holding a fishing pole. The chat recognizes him instantly. It's Eldruck. I think his setting was that his hearing isn't great. Hanbit approaches the NPC with a bright, welcoming smile. Hello there, sir. The old man doesn't even twitch. Crouching down, Hanbit points directly to the equipment. I'd like to buy that fishing rod. Eldruck squints at him, cupping his ear. You had an accident. Hanbit leans in close, his cheerful smile dropping into a deadpan glare. Grandpa, I can hear everything you're saying. I'll pay 50,000 gold. The old man goes completely silent, his shadowed face unreadable. Suddenly, Eldruck's eyes snap open with sharp, fierce intensity. No way, 100. Hanbit chuckles, giving an okay hand sign. Let's do 60, he thinks fondly to himself. This old man hasn't changed a bit. 60,000? I wouldn't even make cost price, you brat. Make it 90, Eldruck yells back. Hanbit counters smoothly. Then let's just go with 50. Despite the heated haggling, Hanbit feels nostalgic. Hearing him swear brings back memories of fishing together. Defeated, Eldruck sighs, waving his hand dismissively. Kids these days sure are sly. Fine, do whatever you want. Hanbit hoists his new fishing rod into the air victoriously. Hell yes, huge profit. Thanks, old man. As he walks away, Eldruck roars angrily. Take it and get lost. The chat mercilessly mocks Hanbit for bullying a senior citizen. Walking away, Yonwoo laughs. I feel like streaming really suits you, Hyung. Hanbit looks at him flatly. Why? Just the way you talk about showing us something with a fishing rod in a bomb slime field. You've definitely got clown potential, Yonwoo teases. Hanbit readies the rod, staring ahead. I'm going to show you something special. How about catching some RP and RP? Yonwoo points playfully at the stream chat, trying to act like a pro streamer. Hanbit glares at him. Whatever that is, I don't like it. The chat braces for disaster. They arrive at the forest. I'm a newbie too, what do bomb slimes even do? A viewer asks. Yonwoo explains, bomb slimes are super sensitive. If you touch them, they explode, Yonwoo finishes, as the traumatic memory of an enormous, fiery blast flashes before his eyes. Even if you attack them from far away, a thrown rock bounces off a green slime. Boom, they still explode. Yonwoo shudders, recalling his avatar getting blasted backward. Just running into them is enough, and they just explode anyway, Yonwoo concludes, visualizing his charred, defeated character. Kneeling in the tall grass, Yonwoo turns to Hanbit. And they don't even drop anything when they explode. So what are you going to do with a fishing rod against those completely useless things? Hanbit doesn't answer. He quietly takes a step forward, his boot sinking softly into the dirt as he creeps toward the edge of a ridge. He crouches low, eyeing a glowing green slime wandering below. Found it, perfect height. Gripping the reel of his new rod, he tests the tension. The feel of the rod is a bit different from real life. I'll need to get used to it. Directly beneath their vantage point, a cluster of highly volatile bomb slimes wriggle around, completely unaware of the impending threat from above. Suddenly, a donation pops up on Yonwoo's screen. Zero has donated 1,000 gold. There are some idiots following you. Yonwoo looks back nervously. I think some people followed us out here. Hanbit's eyes narrow, sharp and calculating. I already knew. A rustle comes from the dense bushes behind them. Hanbit glances over his shoulder, his expression turning icy. They've been keeping their distance and tailing us since we left the city. And it's not just one party, there are several groups, he adds. In the oppressive darkness of the trees, numerous creepy, unblinking eyes watch their every move. Hanbit holds out his hand towards Yonwoo. Lend me your screen settings for a sec. Yonwoo quickly hands over his holographic interface. Here you go. A wicked, knowing smirk spreads across Hanbit's face as he interacts with the floating blue screen. Everyone, sorry but. How about we mess with them a little? I've always loved fantasy, Kim Yeha mused, lounging on his bed with a thick novel in hand. He watched his squadmates walk away, but there was no one in the unit who shared my hobby. So I kept rereading the same books alone to kill time, and then one day, a fresh-faced recruit arrived and saluted stiffly. A junior joined the unit. Yeha enthusiastically shoved his fantasy book into the rookie's face. Hey, rookie, you know this novel? The junior pointed at a specific page. Yes, I've read it. This part was especially fun. Yeha was stunned. Even though I'd read that novel several times, that junior started talking about all these fun details I'd never even noticed. He smirked, a brilliant realization hitting him. You know what? His eyes sparkled with sheer awe. You're freaking amazing. It was like he'd actually been to that world himself. Time passed. After discharge, I saw an RP commercial outside. The moment I saw it, I was sure. Cut to the game world. If I played it with that junior, it would be insanely fun. Yonwoo crept through the bushes. Hyung, the stream's only showing my screen right now. Hanbit remained perfectly calm. Got it. Hanbit aimed his fishing rod at a pulsating green slime below. First, let's pretend I'm focusing on the slimes. Yonwoo enthusiastically blocked the camera view. Okay, while Black Dragon Hyung adjusts his screen, how about dropping a follow tilde? The chat immediately complained, demanding he move his face. Hanbit peeked over his shoulder. Watching only from Yonwoo's point of view must feel frustrating, huh? He looked out at the vibrant sunset, and they're probably anxious that other competitors might catch up any second. In the bushes behind them, a rival group grew restless. The tense standoff between the groups tailing us won't last long when this kind of pressure keeps building up. Russell, a heavy boot, stepped forward into the grass. Swoosh, Hanbit sharply turned his head back. The rival players aggressively readied their weapons. Some of them are bound to jump the gun. Snap, he tapped his finger with perfect timing. Hanbit dramatically extended his glowing hand, the stream returning just in time to show him bowing to the confused chat. He tightened his grip on the fishing rod handle. Whoosh, he swung the rod back with incredible force, the line slicing through the golden hour light. The line whirred rapidly. There's a reason I bought this fishing rod from old man Eldruck. The hook on this rod is a little special. The hook effortlessly snagged the core of the glowing bomb slime. First off, it's sharp enough that bomb slimes don't react to it. His thumb hovered over a mechanism, and if I press this button, thorns pop out from the tip of the hook. Spikes violently pierce the slime from the inside. Boom, massive explosions engulf the cliffside, letting me control the explosions. Hanbit smirked arrogantly over his shoulder, and the slimes caught in that blast. Thud, a glowing green slime landed right at the boots of the rival team. The rival players stared at it in absolute horror. Their leader panicked, waving his arms wildly. Damn it, fall back for now. Russell, he heard a strange noise from above. Ha! Dozens of slimes rained down like meteors. Ag! The slimes are falling down. Run, everyone run. A blinding flash of light exploded directly in his face. Damn it, he cursed as the explosion consumed him. A massive shockwave blew past Hanbit, ruffling his hair. Yonwoo shielded his eyes. Wow. Hanbit smoothly reeled his line back in. All right, now we can really get started. Amidst the dust, a peculiar golden slime wiggled from behind a rock. The chat immediately noticed the strange color. Plop, Hanbit's hook effortlessly caught the golden slime. The golden slime dangled helplessly in the air as he reeled it in. Plop, he dropped it straight into a sturdy sack. Hanbit held the wriggling sack proudly. And there we go, got the material. The chat debated whether the lack of an explosion was a bug. The sack squirmed violently. It is a dud. When you wipe out a whole group of bomb slimes at once, there's a chance some of the survivors will turn into dud slimes. Yonwoo blinked. So if we just copy this, we can clear the quest. Hanbit laughed cheerfully. Then everyone and their grandma would do it. You're basically giving everyone the clear, you know. A truly devious grin spread across Hanbit's face as he clutched the sack. It's not that easy to control. With their prize secured, he turned back to the trail. All right, let's go back to Atsubil. A beautiful sunset painted the sky. Ha! Heavy, exhausted panting echoed through the quiet forest. Hiya! Kim Yeha sat slumped in the bushes, thoroughly exhausted. That was almost really bad. He imagined Hanbit in a sharp suit, radiating corporate power. He's a front for a big corporation. I'm sure there's a massive company behind him, way bigger than where I work. Yeha pictured Hanbit and Yonwoo goofing around. I don't really get why they'd bother teaming up with a tiny streamer. Maybe it's just to distract players by having the Vanguard discover something huge. Yeha's eyes narrowed with sheer determination. Either way, I should at least clear the Atsubil quest. He trudged forward into the sunset, carrying his weapon. Just clearing this will be enough to fill this month's performance quota. The colorful scenes suddenly shifted to a depressing gray, but nothing ever worked out for Kim Yeha. Back at the clinic, Atsubil stared in utter disgust. What exactly did you bring me? She pointed furiously at a plate of bubbling, toxic-looking purple sludge. You dare bring me this disgusting stuff and call it medicine? Yonwoo sweated nervously. Is it really that bad? Hanbit remained completely, uncomfortably silent. Atsubil pinched the bridge of her nose, thoroughly exasperated. Ha! She turned her back dismissively. I'll compensate you for the Yulio matter with money, so just leave. A cocky smirk formed on Hanbit's lips. Guess you weren't that desperate after all. Atsubil whipped around, her green eyes glaring absolute daggers at him. She leaned in, furious. How dare you spout nonsense like that without knowing a thing? Thwack! Before she could finish, Hanbit forcefully shoved a giant spoonful of the purple sludge straight into her mouth. NGH. Gulp, she had no choice but to swallow it. MMPH. Atsubil immediately turned ghostly pale, freezing like a statue as Hanbit stood beside her with a cheerful smile. Yonwoo stared in horror at Hanbit's psychopathic smile. This piece of trash, he thought, a sentiment the chat wholeheartedly agreed with. Atsubil clutched her chest, trembling violently. You fed that thing to me earlier, didn't you? She slapped her hands over her mouth. Goog, she gagged, while Hanbit posed triumphantly with the empty plate in the background. They waited outside the door as horrible retching sounds echoed from within. See, works like a charm, Hanbit bragged. She's throwing up, though, Yonwoo pointed out. Hanbit leaned in far too close to Yonwoo. A seed-looking thing came out right. He grabbed Yonwoo's arm with absolute smug confidence. That's the cause of the illness. Hanbit turns his attention to a stunned Atsubil. That's the true nature of the illness you and your mother have, he states. Atsubil stammers. What? Hanbit nods. I mean exactly that. What you just threw up is the cause. Hanbit looks intently into her striking green eyes. You've been in pain too, right? I could tell the first time I saw you. Atsubil slumps heavily against a wooden cabinet, breathing raggedly. Hanbit continues. I'm sure you've been suffering in silence. Atsubil clutches her chest, sweating and panting. Hanbit's voice remains calm but deeply knowing. Afraid your mother would worry if she found out and that scum like Yulio would use it against you. Wide-eyed, Atsubil asks, how do you know all that? Hanbit just looks at her gently. I get it, so I won't call you foolish for it. He points to the grotesque, pulsing red mass she expelled. What you swallowed is a parasitic seed that grows in the far south. It sticks to a creature's stomach and grows there. He gestures to a plate holding a glowing, smelly, yellowish blob. You probably ate it on some ingredient that came from that region, and bomb slime mucus is the only thing that can detach it. The weird yellow creature jiggles. That's why we needed a dud slime that doesn't explode, Hanbit explains. He continues outlining his insane remedy. The explosive property gets removed. Yonwoo cautiously pokes at the glowing, foul-smelling mucus with a look of pure disgust. Leaving only the vomiting-inducing toxin and mucus behind, Hanbit finishes. Atsubil listens closely as Hanbit reassures her. Once you throw up the parasitic seed, that's it. It doesn't even really count as a disease. She stares at the noxious remedy, clutching her shirt. Once you spit it out. Hanbit firmly hands her the plate of glowing mucus. Go to your mother. As she takes it, Hanbit watches her with a soft expression. Atsubil, he thinks, even if this is just a game world. His eyes narrow slightly, filled with a mix of pity and lingering fondness. You haven't changed at all. Atsubil turns away. Hanbit smiles wryly to himself. Still the same foolish Atsubil who worries more about others' pain than her own. The scene flashes back to Atsubil smiling brightly. Atsubil, I just want you to be happy, Hanbit thinks, as a blue system window loudly chimes, entering cutscene. In the cutscene, Atsubil brings the glowing remedy to her bedridden mother. Mom, I brought the medicine, she says gently. She carefully holds up a spoonful of the yellow mucus. Just take one sip. She tenderly feeds it to her mother, supporting her frail shoulders. Atsubil watches nervously, sweating, as her mother swallows the foul concoction with a hard gulp. Suddenly, Atsubil's eyes widen in sheer, unadulterated shock. The cutscene ends, and Yonwoo is sobbing dramatically into a handkerchief while Hanbit just smiles. When Mom threw up, these huge seeds started pouring out one after another, you know, Yonwoo cries out. I can't believe how much money those quacks squeezed out of me all this time. Atsubil clenches her fists, radiating a terrifyingly cheerful aura. They're all dead to me. I'm not letting them off the hook. The stream chat goes wild, players completely baffled that the notoriously frustrating NPC can actually smile. She wipes a tear from her smiling face. Thank you, really? Yonwoo weeps loudly in the background while Hanbit awkwardly holds up a quest window. You guys didn't do anything, she teases. She steps closer to the duo. Since you saved both me and my mom. She pulls out a thick leather-bound book with a flourish. I owe you a reward, right? She places the ornate book, embedded with a massive red jewel, onto the desk. This is the magic book you were looking for. Yonwoo cheers excitedly. Hyung, you're seriously the best. Can I just touch it once? Hanbit snatches it away with a smug grin. It's mine. Time to head off to the next quest, I guess. Suddenly, Atsubil pops up between them, her eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. Where are you going? I'm not done giving you stuff yet. She casually drops a massive, heavy sack in front of them with a loud thud. First this, and this. System notifications start rolling in like a slot machine. Reward amounts are being adjusted to the maximum. The sack bursts open, revealing piles of gold. 2,000 gold increases to 4,000 gold. The rewards keep stacking up on the screen. Stat points increase from 3 to 5. The experience bar fills up rapidly. X plus 200. Hanbit grips the magic book tightly as more insane notifications pop up. Additional level plus 5 gained, extra stat points plus 5. The magic book glows with an intense, blinding golden light in Hanbit's hands. He stares at it in absolute shock, sweating nervously at the unbelievable, game-breaking jackpot he just hit. Fast forward to the present, recovering from the bomb slime chaos. A single thought crossed Hanbit's mind. I figured as long as Atsubil was happy, that was enough. Suddenly, a brilliant light erupted from the book in his hands. Then I saw the words first clear, and a thought hit me, he realized, his eyes widening. Beside him, Yonwoo recoiled, totally blinded by the radiant flash. The livestream chat instantly lost its collective mind, scrolling by in an unreadable blur of hype and confusion. The source of the light was a magnificent gold-trimmed tome. Ah, ha ha ha, I had no idea something like this even existed, Yonwoo stammered. Hanbit sat exhausted on the wooden floor while Yonwoo admired the glittering loot. A first clear reward being a unique magic book. Wow, that's amazing, right? Hanbit just stared blankly into space. Yonwoo leaned in and whispered frantically, Hey, Hayoung, say something to the viewers at least. Panicking at the speed of the chat, Yonwoo waved his hands defensively. Ah, everyone please calm down. We really had no idea either, seriously. Sweat dripped down Yonwoo's face as the text flew by. What do I even do? The chat's going so fast I can't even read anything. Suddenly, Atsubil approached the seated Hanbit, handing him a folded document. Here, take this too. Hanbit perked up as a holographic card materialized. There's still more. A glowing notification chimed. Achievement unlocked, Atsubil's first savior. He gained a referral and 1 stat point. He carefully inspected the elegant, handwritten letter. Atsubil leaned in with a warm smile. It's a referral to a blacksmith. Go there if you need weapons, Hanbit blinked. A blacksmith. She pinched her nose, looking utterly disgusted. You two don't even have proper weapons, and your gear is totally wrecked from hunting bomb slimes, isn't it? And for the record, that rotten smell. Hanbit shot up indignantly. That smell is the bomb slimes, not us, okay? You fed that rotten stench to me, remember? Atsubil just laughed, radiating beauty. Anyway, I really am grateful for what you did. If you ever need help, just come find me. The stream chat instantly swooned. Hanbit's expression softened into a slight smile. All right. Outside, the duo checked the system map. So what do we do now? Hanbit asked. Yonwoo shrugged. There's nothing set in stone. RP is an open world, so you just go wherever you want. The map highlighted Port City Edlin. Everyone starts in Edlin, but after that it's all up to you. The freedom is great, but... The map ominously panned to high-level dragon territories. If you wander around blindly, you might get stuck in a high-level zone, so be careful. There are more people than you'd think who can't get out and end up suffering. Hanbit gave his junior a deadpan side-eye. Come to think of it, RP is also famous for its free customization, so why did you? No point saying it's because of the goddess. Yonwoo puffed out his chest proudly. Just look at me. I'm similar to real life but still look rich and stylish, right? Took me 5 hours to sculpt this, you know? Hanbit sighed. Sure. Hanbit rubbed his forehead deep in thought. Either way, we still have to choose our next destination ourselves. Where should we go first? A sharp chime interrupted his thoughts. Hanbit glanced up in surprise. A massive donation popped up. Respect All Tastes has donated 50,000 won. I wanna see Atsubil get mad again. Yonwoo threw his arms up, losing his mind. 50,000. Wow, oh, sir, Respect All Tastes. 50,000. Thank you for the 50,000 won donation. Hanbit whipped around, doing the math in his head. So I get 25,000 won out of that, right? Another chime rang out. Atsubil's parasite plant has donated 10,000 won. And another chime echoed. OO has donated 30,000 won. A rank 1 newbie is actually insane. The chimes wouldn't stop. Flame Charisma has donated 100,000 won. Fire really is the best, huh? Yonwoo looked like he was ascending to heaven. 100,000 won? Is that seriously 100,000? Thank you so much, Sir Flame Charisma. Yonwoo shoved a holographic graph in Hanbit's face. Look, Hayoung, the viewer count is crazy right now. It's over 8,000. The numbers ticked past 8,164. The chat was buzzing about their newly discovered hidden gem. Hanbit stared at the numbers, utterly bewildered. All we did was clear a single quest, and we hit 8,000 viewers just like that. He hurriedly bowed toward the stream window. Thank you for all the support, Yonwoo laughed mischievously. Where's the 100K reaction? A reaction, of course I'll do one. Hanbit rubbed his chin, calculating. Total donations so far are around 500,000 won. My cut is 250,000 won. Yeonwoo turned around and started vigorously shaking his hips. Here comes my gratitude dance, Hanbit watched in silent horror. Hanbit looked down at his trembling hand. This is just from clearing Atsubil's quest once. If things keep going like this, we might really make big money. He clenched his fist tightly. Now I can finally repay my mother. A grim memory surfaced, a missing person notice bearing his face. It never actually happened here, but in that other world the goddess once showed me how time was passing in reality, just to pressure me. He remembered the devastating image of his mother, collapsed on the floor surrounded by flyers. My mother in that world had completely abandoned her own life searching for me. Hanbit's eyes burned with resolve. That's why from now on I'm going to make her happy, Yeonwoo's voice snapped him back. Hayoung, try using the magic book, everyone's waiting. Hanbit held up the tome. Okay. He placed his armored hand flat against the glowing cover. A flurry of digital light particles rushed from the book and absorbed directly into his chest. The system registered his new skill, Fireball, unique rank, a fire attribute magic attack that incinerates everything with a powerful burst of flame. Hanbit inspected the now empty book cover, thoroughly unimpressed. That's it, kinda underwhelming for something I got so easily. Back in the day, I went through hell to get this. Yeonwoo grinned excitedly. Cool, right? It feels like the instructions for how to use it just poured straight into your head. Hanbit tilted his head. Huh, I didn't really feel that. Yeonwoo awkwardly rubbed the back of his neck. Aha, guess there's a slight delay. Huh, maybe it's a bit slower because it's unique. Hanbit frowned. Weird. I definitely learned it, though. Suddenly, his eyes widened as a terrifying realization clicked into place. Don't tell me. Are my skills from that other world being reflected here? A vision of the expressionless goddess descending through digital code flashed in his mind. So that's what they meant by existing character at the start. Yeonwoo pumped his fists, eager for action. Hurry and use it, the viewers are waiting, Hanbit sighed. Yeah, I got it. Yeonwoo pointed enthusiastically at a large boulder nearby. Try it on that rock over there. Hanbit raised his hand, spreading his fingers. Focus the image in the center of my palm. He took a deep, steadying breath. Huo. Intense magical energy flared around his arm. Fireball. A roaring, concentrated sphere of pure flame shot forward. The fireball struck the boulder with devastating force. A massive, blinding explosion erupted, shattering the ground itself. The shockwave blew their hair back as debris rained down. Oh! They both yelled over the deafening blast. Yeonwoo threw his hands up in triumph. Hayoung, blow them away! Hanbit crossed his arms, looking mighty smug. HMPH. Hanbit smirked. For rank 1 this is actually. But before he could finish, a sudden chill ran down his spine. Huh. The world around him dissolved into a dark, starry void. A system window appeared, Tittle recorder of 55 cycles. New effect unlocked. 2 terrifying, glowing golden eyes loomed in the darkness. Hanbit glared up at the entity, absolute rage boiling over. You! A colossal shadow hand reached down toward him, making him gasp for air. The title description revealed its true nature. Number 1, proficiency for any skill you've experienced increases at an extremely fast rate. Number 2, locked. Hanbit bared his teeth, trembling with intense fury. He gripped his shaking knee, overwhelmed by the phantom sensations of his past deaths. That damned goddess, he cursed, his voice echoing in the cold void. Deep in the forest, Hanbit pants heavily, utterly exhausted from the ordeal. Ha! He breathes out. Sweat drips down his face as he grips his head in realization. So the goddess really has been watching, he mutters bitterly. Yeonwoo approaches with genuine concern. You okay, Hayoung? He asks. Hanbit waves him off. I'm fine, don't worry about it. Changing the subject, Yeonwoo smiles. It was your first spell and the rank was so high it probably strained you, he suggests. I want to see what a normal grade spell looks like too. Can you show me? He points to himself in disbelief. Me. Yeonwoo hesitates, visibly sweating. Do you have to see it? He asks nervously. I'm honestly just curious, Hanbit replies bluntly. Yeonwoo sighs in defeat. Fine, just don't laugh. Taking a deep breath, Yeonwoo exhales slowly to focus his mana. He strikes a highly dramatic pose as fiery energy swirls around him. Fireball, he shouts with ultimate confidence. With a tiny pop, a pathetic little spark plops harmlessly onto Hanbit's chest. Completely oblivious, Yeonwoo cheers proudly. Oh, Tilda. Hanbit stares deadpan at the tiny flame. It looks pretty cool in its own way, he says dryly. For magic, it is a bit on the small side. Yeonwoo instantly deflates, snapping back. Just insult me instead. A system message suddenly appears. Roper has obtained a D-rank fire magic book. Hanbit scolds him like a disappointed teacher. I told you from the start, didn't I? Magic proficiency is seriously brutal, and you get a unique from the start just like that. Yonwoo clutches his head, crying at the injustice. This is so unfair, so unfair. As the stream chat mocks him, Hanbit sighs deeply. I didn't know it'd be like this from the beginning either. Standing imposingly amidst a dark, shadowy void, Hanbit folds his arms. The unique rank hides it, but the proficiency gap must be huge too, he deduces. He glares down at Yonwoo. Listen, you've got the wrong idea about magic, he says sternly. You're not doing magic at all. Yonwoo blinks in sheer confusion. Excuse me. Falling into full lecture mode, Hanbit raises a finger. Magic isn't some click and it comes out kind of thing, he explains. Maybe Yulio's magic book is partly to blame, but the problem goes deeper than that. Magic is math, Hanbit declares as Yonwoo reels back in horror. You have to calculate every chant and bit of mana control piece by piece. Rank alone isn't the whole story. Meanwhile, the stream chat mercilessly calls him a Chunabu. Yonwoo tries to defend himself, babbling nervously. And sure, unique rank is great, but I'm not planning to use a staff for a while, he reasons. The convenience of magic is its strength, so I'm not taking it as my main skill yet. Hanbit suddenly strikes an edgy, dramatic pose. Yonwoo interrupts the silence. Excuse me, Hayoung. Hanbit drops his guard. What? Yonwoo points out the obvious flaw. You made this character. Yesterday, remember? Hanbit flinches, his entire cool persona shattering instantly. Trembling with absolute rage, Hanbit stands silently as the viewers ruthlessly spam laughing messages about his overimmersion. A horrifyingly evil smile stretches across Hanbit's shadowed face. You little punks, he growls. He violently throws Yonwoo into a chokehold. What do you know about magic? He screams at the camera. Still choking the life out of his junior, Hanbit threatens the audience. No quest info for any of you now, Yonwoo thrashes around wildly. Hayoung, calm down. Suddenly, a notification chimes. Small Spender has donated 77,777 won. A Chibai Hanbit bathes in a tub of cash as the message reads, Calm thyself, O mage. Hanbit immediately freezes in place, his anger completely evaporating. Both of them instantly bow subserviently to the screen. Oh gosh, you didn't have to, Hanbit says with a polite, soft voice. I was just hamming it up for the stream a bit, hee. Returning to his normal self, Hanbit smirks inwardly. Was I always this much of a money grubber, he thinks. Weird how the anger just vanished. He happily pockets his device and turns around. So where are we going next, he asks. A confident, knowing smile graces his features. I happen to have a place in mind, he declares. They arrive before an old, weathered wooden cabin nestled near the trees. This is, Yonwoo murmurs. Yonwoo looks puzzled. You're not doing the main story, he asks. Hanbit gazes at the building. Been a while since I've been here too. I'll do that later, Hanbit explains casually. For now, I'm grabbing skills first. He grabs the iron handle and pushes the heavy door open with a loud creak. They step into the dimly lit cabin, spotting a muscular man aggressively chopping meat on a block. Mounted animal heads and creepy skeletal skulls line the wooden walls, giving off an eerie vibe. Yonwoo shivers, nervously hugging himself. This place gives me the creeps every time, he whispers. The burly NPC turns around, gripping a massive cleaver. A customer, he grunts. The system identifies him as Hunter Reekner, the archery NPC. Hanbit steps forward fearlessly. I'm here to learn some archery, he announces. Yonwoo trembles behind him. Reekner violently slams his cleaver deep into the meat block with a loud thud. Is that so? He rumbles. He gets uncomfortably close to Hanbit's face, glaring down at him. Got any grit in you? He challenges. Unfazed, Hanbit tightens his glove with a cocky smirk. Plenty, I've got grit and skill, he shoots back. Reekner scoffs at the bold claim. HMPH, you talk big, the test is simple. The quest prompt pops up, score above the target threshold to pass. Out at the sunlit range, Hanbit readies a wooden bow. Yonwoo tries to warn him. Hayoung, at least put some points into agility first. It's already going to be tough. Hanbit brushes him off. I'll pass for now. With practiced ease, Hanbit smoothly draws an arrow from his quiver. He pulls the bowstring back tight, his eyes locked dead onto the target. He releases, and the arrow slices straight through the air with blistering speed. Thwack, it strikes the bullseye perfectly. Yonwoo stares in disbelief. Put points into agility, he stammers. Hanbit smiles, thoroughly enjoying himself. It's fine, I've got the feel for it, he says. Yonwoo facepalms, totally giving up on logic. Right, give it your best, he mutters. Suddenly, Yonwoo perks up, noticing something odd. The wooden target board begins to vibrate fiercely under immense pressure. Yonwoo gasps in shock. What the... Smash, another arrow pierces the board, generating a visible shockwave. Holy, Yonwoo yells. Hanbit enters a state of absolute focus, firing arrow after arrow with terrifying speed and precision. Arrows cram into the bulls as the system registers maximum points. Hyung, what are you? Yonwoo cries out over the barrage. With no hesitation, a massive volley of 26 arrows flies directly toward the battered target. Boom, the target board completely explodes into a shower of splinters upon impact. Thick pieces of wood fly through the air, completely obliterated. Unable to withstand the force, the entire wooden stand collapses backward into the dirt with a loud crash. Basking in the sunlight, Hanbit pumps his glowing fist into the air in sheer triumph. The system displays a monstrous total score of 287 points, an impossible feat with his low-level gear. Meanwhile, beneath the bright blue sky of the city, the peaceful atmosphere is interrupted. The delightful clink of falling gold coins echoes through the alleyway. A woman playfully tosses the gold in her hand. Boring, boring, she sighs. Isn't there anything fun? Dressed in a revealing rogue's outfit, she sits casually on a crate. Not those small fries whose pocket security is about as good as a public portal, she complains. She suddenly pauses, her red scarf shifting as she hears approaching footsteps. Peering down the alley, she spots the silhouettes of Hanbit and Yonwoo stepping through the stone archway. A wicked, excited smile spreads across Atsubil's face. What kind of idiots decided to walk up to me on their own? She chuckles. Later on, Yonwoo was practically floating on air. He hummed a cheerful tune, tightly hugging a thick spellbook and a heavy pouch of gold. Hanbit just stared at him with blank, deadpan eyes. Skipping down the dirt path, Yonwoo beamed brightly. Aren't you a bit too happy? Hanbit asked. Yonwoo laughed. I can't help it if I can't stop smiling. Yonwoo gave a big thumbs up, completely starstruck. Hyung, you were seriously amazing. Did you do archery in school or something? Hanbit scoffed softly, as if. Yonwoo's eyes literally turned into shiny gold coins. At this rate, we're gonna be rolling in money, he cheered. He kept boasting about their sudden success. I even set up a prediction bet just in case, and the odds got completely blown up, Yonwoo bragged. Nobody thought you'd be that good with a bow, Hyung. Yonwoo chuckled playfully. I think it'd be great if we threw down big like this from time to time. Hanbit sweat dropped as the chat reminded them they were still live. Oh, right, Hanbit mumbled awkwardly. Recovering his composure, Yonwoo asked eagerly, so where are we going this time? Hanbit casually mentioned their next goal. Quick step, Yonwoo stopped in his tracks, completely shocked. That's essential for swordsmanship, Hanbit explained, while the stream chat immediately started mocking the trash tier skill. Yonwoo whined loudly, quick step's a top-tier useless skill with no real use. But Hanbit just dashed forward with a swift whoosh. Quit whining and follow me, I'm going on ahead. Left in the dust, Yonwoo scrambled to catch up. Hey, Hyung, wait for me, Tilda, he cried out. They arrived at a stone alleyway where Hanbit pointed to a blonde thief NPC. That NPC over there is called Rhea, Hanbit explained. There's a reason people avoid quick step. Rhea stood confidently, wearing a red scarf and a revealing rogue outfit. Compared to how weak the skill is, Rhea's quest is way too hard, Hanbit noted. Yonwoo gulped, looking extremely doubtful. Are you sure you can do it? He asked. Hanbit remained perfectly silent, his face unreadable. With confident, heavy strides, Hanbit approached the notorious thief. Thud, thud. He stopped directly in front of Rhea, looking down at her as she stood proudly with her hands on her hips. Rhea smirked up at him, revealing a playful fang. Your spirit's not bad, but... Poof, in a sudden explosion of dust, she moved with blinding speed. Snatch, she effortlessly swiped their heavy pouch of gold right out of thin air. With a swift dash, Rhea slipped right past them. A cocky smile plastered on her face as the wind whipped around her. Jingling the stolen loot, she glanced back over her shoulder. You're way too slow, she teased. Holding up a glowing blue interface, she made her smug demands. Tuition's up front, 5,000 gold's cheap, right? She expected a freakout, but Hanbit just smiled casually, running a hand through his hair. What, no reaction? She asked, slightly confused. Hanbit replied smoothly, you called it tuition, right? Then teach me the skill already. Internally, Hanbit was laughing. Considering she had stolen millions from him over 55 agonizing regressions, 5,000 gold was an absolute bargain. Rhea pouted, clearly annoyed that her grand theft didn't get a rise out of him. She glared at him intensely, her red eyes narrowing. I really don't like you, then. With a sudden athletic backflip, she launched herself high onto the rooftops. Class is in session, try and catch me, she shouted. A grand system window popped up immediately. It was a time-limit quest to find the runaway Rhea, offering an unknown rarity skill book as the ultimate reward. Hanbit read the chat, which claimed catching her was genuinely impossible. Yonwoo was panicking in the background over his stolen money and water. Hanbit muttered, the time limit is 3 hours, 5 times, for a total of 15 hours, and only after losing 25,000 gold does Rhea finally complete the quest. He stared intensely at the looming countdown timer. During that time, you can't do any other quests, and if you log out, the timer completely stops, he explained, while the chat watched in disbelief. Yonwoo asked nervously, what else? We catch Rhea. But Hanbit just grinned evilly. If we can't catch her ourselves, we just call someone who can. Outside a quaint shop, a voice calls out, you want us to find Rhea? It seems the notorious thief is in high demand. Cut to a cozy shop counter where Hanbit stood before an older blonde woman. She crossed her arms, looking confused. I'm glad you came back, but how did you know Rhea and I are family? Hanbit clapped his hands together with a totally fake, innocent laugh. It's kinda famous around the hideout streets, Tilda, he lied smoothly, while the chat immediately called him out. The older sister sighed heavily, rubbing the back of her neck in defeat. Sigh, fine. As she walked away to help them, Yonwoo whispered, you two sisters. Hanbit nodded. Why, yeah. I saw some graffiti about it near where Rhea was. The stream chat was utterly confused. Hanbit pointed a finger with a sly wink. Should have been paying better attention, huh? The chat vehemently denied seeing any graffiti, even after rewinding the VOD. Hanbit smirked, revealing his true devious nature. Besides, if you hadn't thrown Atsubil in jail, the quest wouldn't even work this way. The chat realized he was using completely unfair meta-knowledge. The fierce older sister glared back at him sharply. You not coming? Thought you wanted to find Rhea. Hanbit quickly snapped to attention. Ah, right. Meanwhile, Rhea was blissfully unaware, humming a happy tune to herself. She sat comfortably on a sunny rooftop, playfully teasing a stray cat with a piece of straw. She chuckled to herself, fully believing she had already won. I bet they've given up by now, Tilda. With a wide, confident grin, she boasted, in this spot there's no way they'd ever. Suddenly, a chillingly familiar voice called out from right behind her. Rhea. Rhea froze, her face turning pale as she slowly looked up. Her older sister loomed over her with a terrifyingly sweet smile. Big sis, Rhea squeaked. Rhea stammered, completely baffled by the impossible ambush. What? Who? Hanbit simply stood casually behind the furious sister. Rhea's eyes spun with absolute panic and utter confusion. She aggressively pointed at Hanbit. This is cheating. How did you drag my sister here? Hanbit just shrugged with a smug smirk. You told me to use any means necessary, remember? I've got some history with your sister. The sister cracked her knuckles with a menacing aura. Rhea, come here a second. Rhea slowly backed away, sweating bullets. Wait, sis, I can't expel. Her sister ruthlessly pinched and stretched Rhea's cheeks, scolding her at the top of her lungs. Didn't I tell you to stop picking people's back pockets? Rhea wailed in pain. Ow, 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 ow. The older sister yelled fiercely, lecturing the young thief about ending up in the hands of scumbags like Yulio. Rhea groveled on the ground in total defeat. Ugh, I'm sorry, sis. With a heavy sigh, the sister pointed a stern finger. Sigh, once you're done, come back to the shop. If you wander off, you know you'll be in even more trouble, right? Rhea pouted miserably. Okay, sis. Hanbit gave a cheerful wave, rubbing salt in the wound. Thanks, Atsubil. Completely defeated and exhausted, Rhea pulled out a glowing green skill book. Seriously, I've never seen anyone like you, she muttered. She forcefully shoved the beautiful manual toward him, still glaring with annoyance. But a deal's a deal. Here. A grand system notification chimed. Because the quest was completed in record time, the reward was adjusted to the absolute maximum, a unique rank quick-step manual. The chat absolutely lost its mind in sheer jealousy. Rhea swiftly bounded away into the sky, desperate to escape. I'm out. This was gross. Let's never meet again. Hanbit waved casually. Sure. See you again, Tilda. Right at that moment, an exhausted Yonwoo finally arrived, panting heavily. Ha, I barely caught up. You're already done? Hanbit nonchalantly replied, yup. Hanbit proudly held up the glowing, unique manual, bragging to his shocked junior. It's fine. The camera followed me just fine, and ta-da, unique rank, he smiled, while the stream chat accused him of hijacking his own stream. With his brand new, overpowered skill safely secured, Hanbit grinned confidently into the distance. Now, let's go learn swordsmanship. A soft green light surged from Hanbit's palms with a glowing whoosh. Hanbit watched the magical particles fade into the air. Still not used to books getting consumed on use, he muttered, even though they're items. Yonwoo turns to his friend. Hi, young chat's got a question. Why did you learn quick step? Hanbit touches his chin calmly. Isn't it obvious? During a sprint, Yonwoo panted heavily, struggling to keep up. Say you and I are running a race at exactly the same speed. Hanbit dashed forward with a burst of speed. If I use quick step, I can run just a little faster and win, right? Yonwoo yelled from behind. But quick step in RP barely does anything, you know. Yonwoo grinned, completely unfazed. Even as unique rank, the difference didn't look that big. Hanbit shot his junior a deadpan glare. Try dying over 50 times and then talk, kid. Yonwoo drew his weapon with a dramatic clink. "Next we're learning swordsmanship, right?" he boasted loudly. "I'm the senior here, swordsmanship rank 2, with advanced rarity, no less." Hanbit stared blankly at his flustered, trembling junior as the stream roasted him. "That's what chat's saying, by the way," he pointed out drily. Hanbit crossed his arms in thought while Yonwoo frantically checked his stream interface. "Seems like most players, Yonwoo included, take more or less the same route," Hanbit observed. He recalled the massive strategy manual. "The reason's probably that guidebook, right?" he mused. "You did say nothing beats it as an intro guide for newbies." He remembered the tragic fates of the NPCs in his past cycles. So Atsubil gets arrested and disappears for good, and naturally Ria ends up as an NPC no one ever bothers looking for, he thought. But the sheer amount of freedom can make it impossible to tell what the right path even is. Hanbit stood tall, a determined aura radiating from him in the darkness. The fact that I was the first one to clear Atsubil and Ria's quests. He closed his eyes, completely centering his focus. Means my experiences are a hint pointing toward the right path. His hand gripped the hilt of his sword tightly. "Fine, then I'll clear RP my own way." The traumatic memory of the goddess manipulating him like a literal puppet flashed in his mind. "But whatever it is, I'm done being her puppet," he swore to himself. They trekked deeper into the dense forest, their heavy boots thudding against the dirt path. Yonwoo wiped sweat from his face as they walked. "This is the most visited swordsmanship NPC, but isn't he way too far out here?" Hanbit didn't look up from his map. "It's part of the reclusive swordsman concept." Yonwoo's face lit up as he pointed ahead to a vibrant red pavilion. "We're here, over there." He waved enthusiastically at a solitary figure resting in the shade. Tilda, we're here to learn swordsmanship, Tilda." The dark-haired man simply took a slow sip of his drink as the wind howled around them. A single, fiercely intense eye glared at them from beneath the brim of his straw hat. Yonwoo immediately swallowed his pride, shivering from the intimidating aura, still creepy as ever. The sword skill NPC, swordsman Balder, set his cup down with a sharp clack. He stepped forward, his boots thudding against the wood. Balder casually tossed a wooden practice sword with a swish. "Take up a wooden sword and swing it," he ordered gruffly, "until I tell you to stop." Hanbit caught the weapon effortlessly, unfazed. "Use one of the wooden swords behind you," Balder instructed. Balder's eye narrowed into a deadly glare. "You came to learn swordsmanship, so there's no need for long speeches." Without a word, Hanbit unbuckled his real sword, letting it hit the ground with a heavy thud. He kicked up a cloud of dust, taking a firm combat stance with his wooden blade with a sharp whoosh. Yonwoo nervously monitored the stream. "The sword quest is split into 2 stages, he explained to the viewers. "Stage 1 is swinging, Stage 2 is sparring. How long did it take you guys to clear the sword quest?" A viral clip played in Yonwoo's mind. A cocky player had challenged Balder, only to get ruthlessly sliced down. "Horizontally," Balder had coolly declared over the defeated player's body. Yonwoo rubbed his chin, shuddering. Never knew a skill-teaching NPC could PK players. The stream chat immediately flooded with bets, eagerly predicting how long Hanbit would survive the brutal test. Donation bells rang out loudly. "If it takes longer than 25 minutes, do the Edlin cliff diving experience?" Yonwoo gasped in sheer horror. Suddenly, Yonwoo threw his hands up in pure excitement. "Hi, Young. Mission pot is over 800,001. 25 minutes, let's go." Hanbit just sighed deeply. Twice as much as the archery mission. Hanbit stood completely still, gripping his wooden sword as a gentle breeze blew past. He slowly closed his eyes, tuning out Yonwoo's shouting and the chaos of the stream. Facing Balder, Hanbit composed himself. "When you're swinging a wooden sword, the most important thing isn't time or number of swings," he analyzed. He readied his grip, muscles tensing. From the start, Balder never expected much in terms of raw ability from beginner swordsmen. Most of the players he met in-game, Hanbit thought, remembering the casual, impatient attitudes of other gamers, probably had that mindset. Balder took another slow drink from his flask. To Balder, those kinds of players must have been downright insulting, Hanbit realized. Hanbit's eyes snapped open, radiating sheer determination. Balder only wants one thing, a serious attitude toward the sword. Hanbit met the menacing NPC's gaze without blinking. Balder stared back, a silent, electrifying tension passing between them. Sensing the raw, unspoken resolve, Balder slowly raised his hand with a rustle of his sleeves. "That's enough," Balder commanded firmly. The chat immediately exploded with confusion. Hanbit hadn't even swung the sword once. A bright system window chimed. Hanbit's resolve had been successfully conveyed, instantly unlocking the sparring match. Yonwoo's jaw dropped as he stared at the holographic system prompt. "There it is, Stage 2, he mumbled in disbelief. He quickly snapped his attention back to the chat. That counts as mission success, right? He yelled, completely hyped. Another massive donation jingled through the stream. Double or nothing. If you block 2 wooden sword strikes, mission counts. If not, mission void. Yonwoo stares at him in disbelief. You're doubling down here? You sure about that? Hanbit just offers a deadpan look. The stakes soared even higher. Block 4 times and then clear and I'll double the total reward, the high roller challenged. Fail and you and Roper go bungee jumping in real life. Hanbit crossed his arms, doing the mental math. Block 4 times and win, huh? If my proficiency affects the difficulty, that might be a bit tight. Yonwoo panicked, shaking Hanbit's shoulders in pure terror. Why do I have to jump too? I'm terrified of heights, you know. Hanbit just smiled warmly, giving his terrified junior a reassuring pat on the shoulder. Yonwoo broke out in a cold sweat. What's with that half-lidded slippery fish stare? No way, right? Hanbit chuckled, gripping Yonwoo's shoulder firmly. Don't worry, there's no way we're going bungee jumping. He shot Yonwoo a dangerously confident smirk. Trust me. Fast forward, Yonwoo frantically shakes a bewildered Hanbit. Digital notifications pop up wildly around them. Ding, a massive donation appears. Sword King has added 1,000,001 to the mission. Yonwoo, acting like an absolute boss, celebrates his whale status while Hanbit stares in utter shock. Hanbit does the math, sweat dropping from his face. 1 million, so that's 1.8 million in total. The desperation for money is really paying off. Fueled by the promise of cold, hard cash, Hanbit confidently steps up to Balder, the reclusive sword master who glares back from beneath his straw hat. Slide, Hanbit draws his wooden practice sword from his belt. It's time to get serious. Sheeing, Balder readies his own wooden blade, his grip firm and steady. Whoosh, the atmosphere grows incredibly heavy as the two face off, the wind blowing between them. Dash, Balder kicks off the dirt, launching himself forward with terrifying speed. Whoosh, he closes the distance in an absolute flash, his imposing figure bearing down on Hanbit. Hanbit grits his teeth, bracing for the impact. Here we go, he shouts. Crash, Balder's sword comes swinging down like a heavy club, shattering the very air. Clash, Hanbit barely manages to parry the massive overhead strike, his whole body pushed to the limit. Watching from the sidelines, Yonwoo's jaw hits the floor. What the has he always hit that hard? The chat loses its mind, wondering if this is a busted bug. Hanbit's face contorts in pain as he struggles to hold his ground against the monster-like NPC. Tingle, the shockwave reverberates through Hanbit's trembling arms as he desperately deflects the blade. Blocked it, Yonwoo screams in pure disbelief, his eyes wide. Balder exhales a low, calm breath. He's barely even trying. Humming with blue energy, Balder shifts into a lower stance, readying his next devastating combo. Hanbit immediately raises his guard, eyes locked onto the brooding master. Clang, clash, the two exchange a rapid flurry of strikes, their weapons sparking wildly. Thud, Hanbit gets pushed back by another heavy strike, sliding across the dirt. Rattle, Hanbit's sword shakes uncontrollably. As expected, my movements feel dull in game, he thinks, sweating. Must be the gear's sync rate. Step, Balder stomps the ground, kicking up a fierce cloud of dust. Whoosh, Hanbit activates a skill, swiftly dodging backward just in time. Good thing I picked up quick step, he mutters in relief. Balder's blade leaves a sharp afterimage as it slices through the empty air where Hanbit just stood. Balder stares him down, completely unamused. Are you getting cocky, or is it because this isn't going how you expected? Hanbit flashes a cheeky smirk. Same goes for you, doesn't it? The chat immediately hypes up his insane trash-talking. Glare, Balder's single eye narrows dangerously from beneath his hat. Maybe I misjudged you. Unfazed, Hanbit lunges forward with a wild grin. We won't know that till we see it through. Boom, they clash again, a massive shockwave of blue energy erupting from the impact. Yonwoo screams from the sidelines, "Hi, young," as Hanbit swings with everything he has. Yonwoo grips his fists, completely stressed out. Why you're way too strong? Why is a basic sword skill quest this hardcore? Hanbit barely avoids a lethal sweeping attack. Thank King, I dodged it, he gasps, while the chat compares the fight to a brutal Souls-like game. Grind, Balder bites his lip in frustration. Hanbit notices and thinks he's probably starting to get nervous now. Whoosh, Balder aggressively lunges with an open palm strike. I should have gone down ages ago, Hanbit realizes, but I'm holding out way better than he expected. Whack, Balder follows up with a fierce horizontal slash. Kaboom, Hanbit is forced to block a gigantic vertical crash, the impact practically cratering the ground beneath him. Suddenly, Balder's eye widens in surprise. Crack, Hanbit's sword starts to splinter, but he just smirks. Your movements are getting bigger. Leap, frustrated, Balder jumps high into the air for a devastating finishing blow. Crackle, Hanbit looks up, gripping his weapon as blue electricity sparks violently. Hanbit tightens his grip, a bead of sweat rolling down his cheek. That one's a bit dangerous. Crash, Balder descends like a meteor. Thud, Hanbit digs his boots deep into the earth to brace for the ultimate impact. Boom, Balder strikes down with a terrifying dark aura, aiming straight for Hanbit's guard. Clash, the wooden weapons collide with an earth-shattering force. Crack, the immense pressure is finally too much. Hanbit's wooden sword shatters at the center. The broken half of the sword goes flying helplessly into the sky. But instead of panicking, Hanbit just flashes a confident, wicked smirk. Balder freezes, his solitary eye wide with absolute shock at the player's sheer audacity. Thud, Balder lands softly, the battle energy completely dissipating around him. Exhausted, Hanbit lies flat on his back in the dirt, throwing up a weak peace sign. That's 4 successful blocks. That counts right. Hanbit breaks into a massive, triumphant grin. Mission complete. Exhausted, he collapses onto the dirt. That was rough, he mutters, as the chat freaks out over his impossible survival. Still feels pretty good, he thinks to himself, staring up at the sky while viewers marvel at his run. Sitting up, Hanbit smiles. What about the mission money? Yonwoo replies warmly. I'll calculate everything and send you your share after the stream. Yonwoo playfully helps him up. You're actually going to pay in full, right? Of course, Hayoung. Hanbit leans forward slightly. We first met in the army, right? Yeah. Hanbit places a firm, grateful hand on Yonwoo's shoulder. Suddenly, Yonwoo violently shakes him by the collar. What were you doing before enlistment, Hayoung? Hanbit sweats nervously, thinking, regression, possession, reincarnation 55 times. Is that the kind of thing I am supposed to say? I just did this and that, nothing special, Hanbit deflects. Yonwoo gasps. Chad is making a list of guesses about your real-life job right now. Chef, assassin, hitman, special forces, samurai. Changing the subject, Yonwoo asks, does all the mission money go to Black Dragon? Yep, Hanbit replies. Hanbit scratches his head awkwardly. Isn't it 50-50 for our revenue? Why should I take it all? Yonwoo beams. It's fine. Those missions were all cleared with your pure mechanics, Hayoung. Pulling up his interface, Hanbit sighs. I appreciate you saying that, but still, at least we don't have to go bungee jumping, right? The chat immediately erupts into laughter. Startled, Hanbit flinches. Huh, it wasn't real. A massive donation notification chimes. Yonwoo cheers. Oh my, Sword King Nim, thanks again for the huge support. I will be using the sword a lot. Suddenly, Hanbit quickly turns his head, sensing a heavy presence. Swish. Balder stands completely silent against a tree, his straw hat casting a dark shadow as the dust settles around him. A bead of sweat drips down Hanbit's face. He must be really mad. Balder crosses his arms tightly. Quiet as he looks, he is clearly holding his anger back, Hanbit notes with dread. At Balder's feet lies the completely shattered wooden sword. He is probably blaming himself for letting a newbie like me read his movements. Balder glares fiercely from beneath his hat brim. So, we're done sparring, right? Hanbit asks cautiously. Balder walks past him with heavy steps. Yes, wait here. He is literally grinding his teeth trying not to show it, Hanbit thinks. Whoever comes after me is in for a world of pain. Balder stops and shoves a glowing blue skill book toward him. Take it. Hanbit stares at the heavy tome in awe. Magic, archery, quick step, and now swordsmanship. That makes 4. System alerts flood his vision, granting him a unique tier rank 1 basic swordsmanship book. The chat completely loses its mind, breaking the game's servers. Another donation dings loudly. Yonwoo eagerly reads it out. Sword tutoring, please. Hanbit's jaw drops as the chat turns into a desperate chorus of players begging for his private lessons. Annoyed, Hanbit grabs Yonwoo by the collar and pulls him back. Give them a little reaction for me. I still have business. Yonwoo laughs nervously, bowing to the stream. Thank you very much. As for tutoring, I could probably handle that. The chat instantly spams, no thanks. Hanbit turns back to the brooding NPC. Hey, Balder. You've still got something else for me, don't you? Hanbit asks knowingly. Balder remains dead silent. Finally, Balder shifts his stance and reaches into his robe. My master has moved his residence to Edlin. He pulls out a piece of gray fabric. If you meet him, show him this. Balder tosses the cloth through the air. He'll at least hear you out. The cloth flutters beautifully, revealing the bright green insignia of a sword. My master dwells where the winds converge, Balder states cryptically. Hanbit snatches it out of the air with a confident smirk. Where the winds converge, huh? Turning his back on the NPC, Hanbit calls out, let's head back to the city. Beside him, Yonwoo dances awkwardly for the stream. As another donation pops up, Yonwoo points toward the horizon. It's starry out. People are already running over there. Looks like I'm working overtime tonight. The beautiful blue sky spreads out above them in the virtual world. Hanbit slumps forward, utterly drained. Let's call it a day here, Yonwoo shrieks, what? Hanbit stretches his stiff virtual muscles. I still have to go to work. It'll be bad if I don't get at least some sleep. We'll continue tomorrow. He brings up the log out prompt. Yonwoo pouts. True, we did go hard today. See you tomorrow, then. Do I have to come back right after work, Hyung? Hanbit sighs. No can do. The digital world dissolves into bright vertical streaks of data and light. Back in reality, his sleek gaming capsule opens with a soft hiss. It's hot. Hanbit sits up, completely drenched in sweat. I'm drenched in sweat. Got a shower before bed. Guess I really focused too hard during that sword mission. Suddenly, his phone buzzes loudly on his bed. It's an enthusiastic text from Yonwoo. Hyung, awesome job today. I'll send your share right away. I'm heading straight to bed. A bank notification instantly follows. Hanbit mutters, you could have just sent it all at once later. Then he reads the deposit amount, 3,000,001. He freezes in sheer disbelief. His eyes bulge completely out of his head as his brain short-circuits. His hand shakes violently as he clutches the device. What the? That much just from yesterday and today. Later at his dreary office job, Hanbit contemplates his entire life. Total actual play time was barely over 10 hours. Maybe I don't even need a day job. But then he remembers the grueling pain of the virtual world. No, I fought so hard to come back to reality, and now I'm thinking about going back there. He imagines the chaotic viewer chat. I'm sorry to the viewers, but streaming should stay a hobby. He pictures Yonwoo's bright, supportive smile. I do feel a little bad about Yonwoo, though. Hanbit shakes his head furiously to snap out of his delusion. No, focus. There's no guarantee donations will always explode like this. Holding his phone tightly, his expression softens into something deeply tender. Having a proper job will let Mom rest easier. A gentle, warm smile crosses his face. Still, it'd be nice if I could make her happy like this from time to time. Suddenly, a furious scream shatters his peaceful morning. Kang Hanbit. Hanbit scrambles backward on his bedroom floor as his mom glares down at him like a demon. Mom, what are you doing up this early? She yells, early. It's already morning. She shoves his phone right into his face. More importantly, what's with this money? Hanbit's eyes go wide with absolute panic. She had seen the massive deposit notification. He gulps. That. Whack, his mom smacks him hard right on the forehead. You weren't sleeping at dawn. What were you doing? You're not sneaking around doing something bad behind my back, are you? Hanbit covers his head defensively, terrified. No, it's money I earned fair and square, I swear. She scoffs loudly. Fair and square? How? She narrows her eyes, radiating murderous maternal intent. The only way to suddenly make this much is gambling. Hanbit waves his hands frantically. I said it's not that seriously. Desperate to survive, he explains. You remember I told you about Yonwoo, right? I said he gave me a gift so we could play a game together. We streamed that game together and it did better than we expected, so I made a bit of money, that's all, he pleads, imagining raining gold coins. Hanbit looks up at her with complete, unyielding sincerity. You know I'd never do anything illegal, Mom. His mom sighs heavily, rubbing her temples to soothe her growing headache. Let's talk more when I get back from work. You'd better get ready for work, too. As she turns her back to leave, Hanbit calls out softly, I'm telling you the truth, Mom. She glances back over her shoulder, her strict facade breaking to reveal pure concern. Who said I don't believe you? I just don't want you working yourself to death. The door clicks shut softly, leaving Hanbit sitting quietly on the floor. A warm, deeply rooted feeling spreads through his chest. Don't worry, Mom. He looks at his hand, a fierce, protective determination lighting up his eyes. You don't have to carry all that debt by yourself anymore. Well, that's all for today. If you like this video, then give it a big thumbs up. And yeah, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Bye.